We do have Kid Behind a Camera, Michael Green, and Eric Wargo on the line. They're about to be joining us for a second, but I wanted to make sure that you guys got my utmost gratitude. It has been a couple years now since we shot Don't Dream About Me. The release has been nothing short of spectacular. We got some really cool stuff in the future as it relates to the film. You guys really enjoyed the behind the scenes, or the deleted scenes rather, with Michael and I. We had a really great interview with a woman, a hotel shuttle driver, that really just kind of showed that everybody has these weird dream, precognitive experiences, deja vus. It's something that has been haunting me, as you saw in the film, for 16, 17 years now. Michael as well, and it's something that really brought us together outside of YouTube. It was like, yo, why are we bonding over these weird synchronicities? Like, what? And guys, we're gonna get into all this, but I want to intro our two guests today, and we're just gonna have a free flow discussion. If you guys have questions, let us know in the chat as it relates to the film or precognition. And TTS is set to $10, so if you really want to interrupt us, you have something to share or to say, maybe how the film touched you, or maybe your own experiences. This is an open floor, and probably the only time we're going to get this kind of deep discussion on the McJuggerNuggets YouTube channel, because I know this is like, this is my creative baby, this channel, and sometimes we get thrust in ways we didn't expect, and I know a lot of you were like, what is this? Is this real? What is this movie? This is not... I appreciate all the members, guys. Anyway, without further ado, I'm going to bring up these lovely gentlemen who are so kind enough to borrow the time here. Say hello, guys. We have Kid Behind a Camera, Michael Green. You guys know him from the Angry Grandpa show. Had some crazy stories to share in the film. And then we also have one of the forefathers, in my opinion, of precognition, Eric Wargo, who honestly was one of the highlights of the film, with sharing his wisdom and his expertise in this space, which is few and far between. So thank you guys for coming on.
Hey man, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so these guys, first off, you guys watched the film for the first time when it came out. What did we think?
It was fantastic. I was absolutely blown away, Jesse. I like, really, I did not know what to expect. and I had not watched most of your stuff. You know, I'm a little older generation. Like you said, if people over 40 don't know this world that you're in. I'm glad I let you take over my house with your film crew for a day. It was weird, but it was great. You did a phenomenal job, and everyone I've talked to about the film, I've recommended your film to tons of people, and they've all been blown away by your vulnerability, your honesty, and I think it's going to be a great vehicle for getting this topic talked about.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, and thank you for letting us into your home, because as Michael brought up when we were shooting at his house, he's like, you're just kind of waltzing in here with this big crew, and we're filming shots of Bridget at the door smoking, and then Eric is in his bed sleeping, and we just met him. But Mike, how you doing? First time watching the film, how was it?
So my first, obviously I expected something good because I saw the trailer like months before, but before I saw the trailer, I didn't expect it to be like that. It was incredible. I didn't expect it to be so good. It was wild.
How did you feel as we were exploring your story? Because I know you are our skeptic. You're the guy who's had these crazy experiences and is still not sold. How was it? How did you feel watching? Oh, here we go. We got our first.
At Grizzly92 HD35 donated $20 through Super Chat. Almost 10 years since the end of the Psycho series in 2016. How did you enjoy the Psycho series?
Not fully. We appreciate that, but.
At Adam Post Stuff donated $10 through Super Chat. How much did you and Michael discuss before you showed up in South Carolina? How much of that was real? Or did you just show up with your crew unexpectedly?
That's a great question. We're gonna hit that now. Actually, it's definitely right on topic. We do appreciate the $20. Let's try to keep TTS related to the film, precognition, things like that. Michael and I did exchange text messages. We had a phone call, and I did explain to him briefly, like, hey, like, we are doing this film. I know you've had experiences. Would you feel comfortable sharing this? Would you say it was begrudgingly, or was it something
Very begrudgingly, yes.
What is it that you don't like talking about this stuff?
One, no one's gonna believe it, right? Like it, especially coming from us. You know what I mean? Like I don't know the word to describe us, but like they don't believe it coming from us. So one, there's that aspect to it. Two, I don't know what I believe about it. I don't know how to explain that I've done it. I don't know, but like, yeah, no one's gonna believe it.
So you thought like this was basically a shot in the dark, a waste of time, and if anything, maybe potentially embarrassing.
Right, because it's like vlogs they already call fake, okay? But this is real, right? And so like putting yourself like on the line like that and it be real and genuine in your actual self, it's embarrassing if they just reject it, you know?
You guys are modern shamans. Did you know that? I mean, I come from an anthropology background, but you know, shamans are people who are fakers, basically. But their fakery gives them access to a real alternative reality. And they achieve real things in real life through their magic. Okay? And that's one of the amazing things about shamanism throughout history and across cultures is that there'll be these, you know, people will know, oh, that shaman, he's like a complete fake, he's a fraud. But he will then like actually heal someone. He'll actually pull, you know, a sickness out of a person's stomach, you know, and it'll be a fake piece of like, you know, like feather with, you know, ink on it to make it look like blood. But the guy will get better.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, that is what shamanism is often. And that's what you guys are. You're modern shamans. I mean, you're fakers.
I think they showed that on Man on the Moon with Andy Kaufman. Like, I think he went to one of those like doctors and they did the whole the thing and yeah.
Yeah.
I think what's most interesting, Mike, is in the notebooks. It's all about these notebooks for you. We talked briefly before we went live that you.
Deck 2 donated $9.99 through Super Chat. Why did you choose to continue when you found out the actual truth about the barber?
Well, the thing with Joe Barca is, and I have to say, anyone who's not watched the movie, be prepared. There's going to be spoilers in this. Go watch the film. You can find it on Apple, Amazon, YouTube Movies. We actually just rolled out in UK and Canada, available on those platforms. So with Joe Barca, even though it wasn't spot on, he was going to die, like the dream said, to have a next day heart attack is a hit all the same. And that's one thing we've noticed with a lot of these, you know, precognitive dreams, or even what I was getting at was Michael's kind of notorious more for free writing or automatic writing, where he's just kind of freely letting his subconscious wander and he's writing whatever comes to mind, is that they're not always 100%.
Joe of Gaming donated $9.99 through Super Chat. Do you still have these dreams today? Would you like to still have them or continue to have them?
Yes, and that we're definitely going to get into that. Thank you for that question. A lot of things have happened since the movie that have only solidified my perspective on things. But yeah, I like you get. You're going to jump in, Eric.
Yeah, can I interject something?
Yes.
The thing is, you thought that Joe Barca died. I mean,
correct.
So your dream was completely accurate. It was not just off. I mean, you heard your dad say he had a heart attack. You heard in your head, oh, that means he's dead.
Right. Yep.
So it was it was a direct hit, because dreams don't foretell objective events out in future reality. They foretell things that we think. learning experiences and so on. Now, those can be incorrect. They doesn't have to be exactly accurate in terms of real reality. You thought that he died, and your dream.
And to perfectly illustrate that, and to the viewer who asked, are they presently happening? This one I didn't share because if you guys have been following me on social media, I've been saying I want to now replicate this. I want to have a dream, post it prior, so you can see in real time that this is legitimate. And I didn't share this one because a lot of these can be really personal. So literally just 2 weeks ago, I had a dream, and it got real meta. I woke up in my childhood bedroom, and my wife Ashley comes to me and grabs me and wakes me up and says, "Oh my God, your friend Emily just died." And then I look at Ashley, I'm like, "Oh my God," I start freaking out. I'm like, I just dreamt this 2 days ago. I said that in the dream, which is bizarre. So precog is starting to become a theme in my dreams. So then I wake up in real life, I write it down. I tell Ashley in the morning, I'm like, "Hey, I had this dream. My friend M died, but you told me that she died. What should I reach out to her?" And so I did. I felt compelled because you saw the story of Joan in the film, and me reaching out to Joan and telling her about the Red Tractor trailer, she was able to dodge it. So I was like, I gotta say something to M. I DM her. We don't talk ever. I don't dream about her ever. I reach out to her on Instagram. She sees it, takes 30 minutes to respond. She says, "I really wish you hadn't told me this right now. I'm in the hospital." And I was like, holy shit. I don't want to get into the personal details of that. I don't know if she wanted me sharing that. But my immediate fear was, oh my God, she's dying. She's dying. And then she said she was going to be in there for the next few days potentially, and they wasn't sure what was going on. And so that was just a easy indication of, like Eric Wargo was saying, that, it's my subjective foretelling. I was afraid she was going to die. So the dream told me she was going to die, even though she was in the hospital spot on at the time that I had it. She didn't die. She's fine. But that's immediately right where my brain jumped to.
Right. Yeah, when we did the movie, you told me you had that dream that I had died of a heart attack. So I dropped like 100 pounds after we filmed the movie, because I didn't want that coming true. I still got more to go, but yeah, I lost 100 pounds because of what you said. So
don't give me that credit.
It's true. It's true.
But that really played a part.
Now.
Wow. Yeah, dude. Yeah, you dropped a tremendous amount of weight, and that's what's hard is I shared on social media my plane crash dream, and it's complex because imagine that I had talked to the authorities and maybe I was able to get the tail number and we were able to stop the flight from taking off and things change. We would never get that confirmation that it was going to crash. So it's like, maybe Mike, if you didn't drop the weight when you did and I didn't tell you about it, maybe you would have had a heart attack and died, and we really just, there's no way to confirm that. And so that's where it gets hard to be like, oh, you're telling the future or whatever, when now if you save or change something, like would Joan have actually got macked by the tractor trailer? That I would say yes, because she was on the trajectory to get hit. But, was my warning of that actually enough for her to swerve? That's what she said, but it's still hard to say with some of these.
That's the interesting thing to me about this topic, is there's this real realm of uncertainty around a lot of these experiences, and there's no way of ever knowing with 100% certainty that a dream is like full-on precognitive versus.
At Rose Chloe Amberlin donated $10 through Super Chat. The man in the suit, is this only for the movie? Or do you actually see this man, and if so, how accurate was the actor to the actual man in your dreams? And also was wondering if Michael dreamt this man.
I love that question. Thank you. Yeah, so the Dream Man is real. That Joe Barca dream was the first time I met him. However, it wasn't this. I would still call him a mysterious man, but he's actually this character from Lost named Richard Alpert, who is ageless. He appears on the island at random times, and my brain was using him as a vessel, as a vehicle to deliver this information, because he represents not only like a authoritative figure with the suit, but that character was all-knowing. And so, although I didn't see the Dream Man in all these precognitive dreams, that's where kind of the narrative, like creative element comes in. But since the movie now, the Dream Man has appeared in the film as Joe Silva, the actor. So it's gotten really convoluted. But Joe Silva, who played the Dream Man, does look very similar to Richard Alpert. And we were also playing on that meme from like 2013 of This Man. So we're really just kind of converging all these different symbols in one thing.
There was conscious reference to Donnie Darko too, right?
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
that-
Yeah.
Yeah. I was, I mean, I could see that from the trailer, and I wondered if you were going to like be more overt with it in the film, and you really weren't. But then in your in the awesome credits sequence, you had the jet engine dropping.
Yeah.
So they thought, okay.
And crushing a gnome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that. Yeah, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, there was even a shot that just looked very Donnie Darko-esque of when Dream Man turns in my dad's GTO to the like little side mirror, and it looks.
And Adam Post Stuff donated $10 through Super Chat. Question for Mike, because I think everyone was very shocked you were going to be in this. Mike, 10 or so months ago you said you would never reunite with Jesse. Was that hiding your appearance in this?
When I said that, we'd already filmed the movie. It was one of the about. Me and Jesse were talking about like collaborating when the time comes for the movie to promote it, but then Jesse got sicker and
Yeah, how'd I get sick? Not.
Well, it's not like I purposely gave it to you.
No. That was really challenging because that was a little over a month of shooting, and unfortunately, Mike got COVID. Yeah. Oh, we got a guest, another guest.
Say hi.
Hi.
Hey, Mikey.
Everyone, we're live right now. You're in front of a bunch of people. Say hi.
What did Mikey say when he saw Eric Wargo?
What is two people?
What did he say?
He's like, "Is that my teacher or something?" What did he say?
Oh yeah, he asked me. Yeah, did you say he was a teacher? Okay.
Are you a teacher?
No, I'm not.
I mean,
I guess I have a lot of books.
I guess you are though, for sure. You've definitely been teaching.
Well,
yeah.
Go upstairs.
Informally.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So, buddy, I love you. I'm a single parent right now for the weekend. So basically, what was I talking about? Getting you sick from COVID.
Yeah, that, and we were talking about really hiding that you were in this.
Right. We were going to promote it, and then Jesse got, started getting sicker, and it was getting worse, and we were like, okay, feasibly, we probably couldn't come together because I would have to show up like a couple of weeks early and make sure I don't have anything. Especially me, because I'm the one that got him sick in the first place. But
and what you saw in the film was legitimate. I warned Michael prior. I was like, hey, I had a dream you got COVID, and that Tina betrayed him. And while we were at the lab, he had COVID, and Tina, he was on a...
333 donated $10 through Super Chat. Question for Eric. Do you believe in the Myers-Briggs personality theory? And do you think some personality types might be more likely than others to have precognitive experiences?
It's a great question. I'll segue into that for that. But yeah, Mike and I really did a good job keeping this hidden. We did have an interaction on Locale, and we tried to like minimize the discussion and the interaction because we really wanted when that trailer to drop, everyone to be like, "What the dude?"
Right.
Like when Mike opens that door and it's like, "Hi," and it's like, "Whoa!" And especially just how it all ties in with this weird precog dream stuff. I mean, when Mike and I first met, I forget how you brought up the notebooks, but as soon as you brought it up, I was fixated 10 years ago because I was like, dude, I do the same thing.
Right, and I immediately went to my closet and I grabbed the notebooks. I was like, dude, look. And
Yeah, I
I
was
was flipping through the pages
And it was to the point where like Mike had kind of tossed it aside, but I think I spent an extra 30 minutes or so just going through every singular page to see what future stuff he had.
Wilmer Stevenson donated $9.99 through Super Chat. Excellent job. The film. I have to ask, why do you think individuals who are more spiritual seem to relate better with being more open to the idea of what you guys have experienced?
Yes, and that I think ties in well with the previous question regarding the Myers-Briggs and the personality stuff.
Yeah.
So, and I wanted to ask Eric, because I saw him tweet this to somebody, but as it relates to me getting sick from the movie, you had mentioned, I think, or alluded that there's some, I guess this happens to like psychics or media, that they do commonly confront health issues, and am I in the right line of thinking that it does connect with certain personality types or maybe predispositions to like how does all that connect? And if you could try to answer that question.
Yeah, it's a big question, but yeah, there's definitely individual difference in terms of A, experiencing this kind of stuff, B, being open-minded to experiencing it. I think we all experience it, but most people aren't like aware of it and don't believe in it and don't, or even think, they're not even aware of the possibility. And so they just sort of, they go through life and they're not aware of it. Then there are people who are sort of on that more imaginative, let's say, end of the spectrum. People who are more open to new experiences, people who are comfortable with things being nebulous and uncertain. There's certain personality types that are more liable to experience this kind of stuff or be aware of experiencing it. And people, people who are aware of their dreams. First of all, a lot of people, they bounce out of bed in the morning and they get to work and they don't think twice about it and they don't remember their dreams. But we're all dreaming all through the night. But those other people who are a little more aware of their inner life are aware of their dreams more and are more liable to notice when they have a dream that then comes true 2 days later. So there's definitely a lot of personality variance there. As far as the Myers-Briggs, I think professional psychologists don't put much stock in the Myers-Briggs. They sort of treat it as, it's just no better than astrology. I disagree. I think it's a very useful tool for thinking about these personality differences. And I don't know, I couldn't tell you which types are most prone to, say, have precognitive dreams or precognitive dreams.
Do you know what both your guys' Myers-Briggs are?
Yeah, I know what mine is.
I don't even know what that is.
It's like Int J, Inf J, and SJ. Yeah.
And Adam posts stuff. Donated $10 through Super Chat. Last question for now, lol. Jesse, did your dad unblock Mike? And has your relationship with Mike been somewhat healed after the previous drama? Also, Eric, I really related with your explanations.
Thank you. Appreciate that question. It's still to be continued with my dad. I don't know. Actually, my dad's kind of been off Twitter in general for a while. He still thinks it's the devil and doesn't like social media, which I tend to agree with him. Mike and I, who would have thought 2025, Kid Behind a Camera and McJuggerNuggets hopping on a call together, talking about dreams and stuff. So we're definitely... Yeah, we're talking. Things are cool. But
we had a great moment in San Francisco, I thought, that I've held on to. That was a good moment for me.
Yeah, I think we had a couple back-to-back nights where we stayed up till 3, 4. Probably not in the best interest of the movie and my health, but it was great to reconnect. But back to the Myers-Briggs, I did want to touch on that. I know there's intuitive as a category, yes. and I know I've fluctuated between two personalities, either the scientist or the commander, but I always have the N. I wasn't sure if the N just with what it is, intuitive, I would imagine that's the most important.
That's the most important for this, is that axis of, I think it's sensing versus intuitive, I believe. It's people who, I consider, I might have even said this in the film. I think intuition is just precognition by another name.
Yeah.
And people who are on that intuitive end of the spectrum whatever their other personality types. You know, I think introvert, extrovert. I don't think there have been some studies that show extroversion is kind of predisposes people, but the most precognitive people I know have been like super introverts. So, you know, it's like that's hard to pin down. But the intuitive thing is the most important.
You never took the test, Mike?
I've never even heard of it. I don't know.
You should definitely try that out. Maybe even could do it on Locale. It's a really quick quiz. It's like 100 questions, but they're easy questions. It's like, if there was a group of people, would you go and say, hi, my name's Mike?
I took a similar when we were trying to figure out our personality types. Remember that?
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Yeah. Do you remember what yours was or nah?
Well, I remember I was like a debater.
You were a debater. I forget if that has N or not.
I don't remember.
I don't know.
It was so long ago we did that.
Yeah.
And yours was like the same one the Keemstar got. Like you were like an authority or like, what was it? Like a leader.
Yeah, that was the commander days. I've since become introverted apparently, but it's a good question because and then how about as it relates to sickness, Eric? Like because I was like, why did I get so messed up from COVID? And I thought that maybe if I'm more in touch with feeling the future, does that mean I have a more sensitive nervous system in general that predisposes me to get more messed up by illness?
That's a really interesting question. And I wouldn't be able to answer that, but I know that chronic illness or severe illness in childhood.
Joe of Gaming donated $9.99 through Super Chat. To Mike, you started having those dreams relatively young. When you saw your grandmother's porch for the first time, did it scare you? Did you tell anyone about that dream at the time?
No, the first time I talked about it was on that vlog that day. For those that don't know, I was telling Eric before the show went live, the first precognitive dream that I ever had was also like a guy. And he was at the end of a long driveway and I was on a porch playing. I was like 6. And for like 6-7 months, every night he would get a step closer until he was like face to face with me. They were terrifying dreams. I was afraid to go to sleep. And then the last time I had the dream was when we went to my grandmother's house, and that was the porch and that was the driveway, but I never saw the guy. I don't know who he was. Never again have I seen him.
And that's what's nuts is, for people questioning the validity of the movie, the beautiful thing about me and Mike is we have our whole lives on video. So What Mike's describing, he even clipped it in the vlog where he talks about the movie. This was him on the phone with his dad at 10 years ago, however, recounting this story. So it's not something, he'd have to be really on top of his lies,
Right.
But he also you have video too of the notebooks from 10 years ago as well.
Yeah, I posted a couple of pictures of some of because some people, there was some Eminem songs that I predicted that came out a couple of years later that people pointed out. They were tweeting me about it. I forget what it was now.
And where, at what end of the spectrum are you now, Mike? I have to know. And how much of your skepticism was, were we dramatizing? Are you 100% believer that it's real, or are you still undecided?
So I believe that it is real. I don't know that I partake in it. I feel like my stuff had to be a coincidence because I don't do it anymore. I haven't been able to since Dad passed. But there has to be something there. There's too much. And
so, because I want to draw on a couple different things from your notebooks in particular. The one where you're singing, which I'm great, we got to capture some of your beautiful singing voice in the film. But
right.
I don't know if people fully comprehended that you were singing a song that you wrote the lyrics to years before that song came out.
It's weird. We, through me and Jesse have been talking about this for a few years now. We've learned that a lot of what I have shows up in music. It's somehow tied into music somehow, right? That song, it's a song by Surge, the lead singer of System of a Down, called Gate 21, I think. And I wrote lyrics down, and the song exists after I wrote it.
Marcy
You
Films
know?
donated $9.99 through Super Chat. Video on our similar experiences is being made. Friends/family are in it, talking about what they've seen. You told me about the Dream Man years ago in a dream. How? This video is insane. Coming soon.
Thank you for that, Marcy. Yeah, if anybody ever has any experiences, would love to send me your videos recounting them. We know Eric put his email in the book, which he says in the. So anytime you guys want to reach out with your stuff, I feel like it just helps encourage. And actually, there's my favorite right there. Which yeah, we didn't get to talk too much about the books in the film, but Eric has a few books now that go into kind of different little subsets within the precog umbrella.
Yeah, and what you guys were just talking about, the music stuff, is what's especially fascinating to me, because I think people are aware of precognitive dreams, but they don't realize that precognition comes out in art all the time. And artists are constantly doing exactly what you do, Michael, which is create like something, a song or a painting or a film or whatever, that then turns out to be precognitive of something they're going to see or hear or whatever in the future.
I mean,
so that's actually
I just can't fathom. I can't fathom it. How nuts is it? I mean, dude, the lyrics were almost spot on.
Right.
To a song, and I doubt Serge had written that like prior to you writing it. Like timing wise, it to me was you wrote it. Years later, he wrote it. It came out. You listened to it. You enjoyed the song. You loved it so much. Probably listened to it a bunch of times, and then it resonated enough that it must have permeated back, and you wrote the lyric. But like to write the specific lyrics meant like. Did you listen to it like a million times, or? Yeah,
I did. Yeah,
that's how it works. It happens all the time. And a lot of, like, I have one of the chapters in my book, From Nowhere, is about specifically this and the issue of plagiarism, because I think that a lot of cases of artistic plagiarism where like this artist is accused of copying something that some like very not famous song, they write this big hit and then they're sued because there's some obscure song sounds exactly like it. I think sometimes it's a case of genuine precognition. They were precognizing that song, or one was precognizing the other, or they were both precognizing each other. I think this happens all the time. And that phenomenon, you'll hear about the phenomenon of two scientists coming up with the same idea on opposite ends of the earth at the same time. This happens with artists all the time. I think it's precognition.
Yeah, one of the last times that I did do it, Jesse, you should remember this. This was like last year or the year before. I sent Jesse. I get bored, and sometimes I'll make fake album covers and fake track listings. It's just something. Now I've done it on the computer, and I sent Jesse one for the death of Slim Shady.
Yep.
That Eminem put out.
Yep. Yeah. That's what's been fun texting with Mike is that because this is now a part of the conversation, we'll exchange different precogs with each other. And it probably might sound crazy to some of you guys, but it's pretty normalized for us. Like he had shared that one, and so when you get to watch him in real time, even though Mike was saying, "Oh, I haven't any since his dad died," that's actually not true. He's had a bunch. I mean, he also had a really crazy one with the Pawn Stars. What was his name? Rick Harrison?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Explain that. Walk us through that.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, wait, one dono, and then, I want to hear that story.
Jack93 donated $9.99 through Super Chat. Do you guys believe that the pineal gland plays a role in the level of awareness of these visions and messages, or do you think that there is actually another entity communicating these things, or both?
Eric, give like a abridged answer for that one.
Yeah, I don't think either. I think it is. I think it is a brain thing. I don't think it's the pineal gland. I think it's a little more complicated than that. But I don't think it's some other entity either. I think it's our future self that's giving us this information.
Yeah, because I always see that. I almost don't like when it goes into that realm, the pineal gland, like the third eye stuff. I don't feel like it is this, but like, where did that come from? That was like even a thing. Like,
the pineal gland has been like this significant. It's been significant for I don't know, people. I don't want to say physicians, but since it goes back through history, even to the ancient Egyptians, they thought that there was something significant about the pineal gland.
Is
there's
it like
no way they could have known.
Is it like the appendix, where it's like, we don't fully know, so we'll say it's that?
I think it's pretty known. It's a gland. It secretes different neurohormones in the brain, and we don't know fully what it does, but I don't think that the mechanism of precognition has to do with a single organ in the brain or a single part of the brain. I think it's something that's happening within neurons, that's happening within all neurons, and in fact within all cells. I think it has to do with these little structures called microtubules that are inside every living cell, actually. And there's growing evidence that these little molecules are actually quantum computers. And if that's the case, they may be able to get information from their own future. And so I think that the mechanism is going to turn out to be this kind of process happening inside of each of the 200 billion cells in your brain. So I think it happens across the brain, not just in a single part of the brain.
I was talking to Jesse one time, and we were talking about, like, what if it's like, because they say animals can sense danger, right? Like,
Sure.
So what if, like, and it has to be like rooted in like death and like, for me, the first like several years of my life, I lived in a constant fear of my father's death. Constant, like almost every thought was wrapped up in it and somehow. So what if we were able to tap into that like awareness of, and we could stretch it, like if we could, if they can think 20 seconds ahead, what if we can push it and hone in on it and go further than that?
Right.
Right.
And I think it like me trying to get the lottery numbers, or even like I'm still trying to use survival as my tool to get, like, say, money's tied to survival now. So it's like, how can I think the more I can like edge it towards that, or even replicate like an experiment. Like I even thought like, all right, I'm going to tape myself to a chair, stare at the winning numbers, and then just start torturing myself to make it really heightened emotionally, to send it back to myself. Like make it a life or death thing. And I think that is the way to do it, that it might be because of the ethics of it. When in science, they might be like stray away from doing those types of experiments. But when you look at like the Zener cards, other things, like it is the more erotic or intense image, the 9/11s that stick out, which I get. I want to get back to Mike's recent precog of a death of a famous person that had we released the text messages or posted about it prior, when it came true, viral tweet, and then suddenly people are like, oh, this is legit. Can you share that story?
Yeah, so I had this dream. I was in Las Vegas, and I walked into the set of Pawn Stars where they filmed that show, and there was a casket like in the room, and like I don't remember fully the rest of the dream. I remember the dad was like crying at the casket and stuff, and he said he like lost his son or something, and I told Jesse about it. And how long was it after that the son passed away?
Pretty quick. I'm seeing if I can pull up the text for right now.
It wasn't long after the son died.
Yeah, it was because I was even telling Paul about it, the DP for the film, because Paul was open to the idea, had a precog, and just through talking about it, Paul started to have more precogs too. So I started to exchange messages with him. So Mike, after you told me, I told Paul, and here's the text. I said, Mike had a dream 3 nights ago. Rick Harrison, one of the guys from Pawn Stars, was at a funeral, and he said, I guess this means goodbye. Then 2 nights ago, in real life, Rick Harrison's son dies of an overdose.
Yeah, so it was the next night?
3 nights ago. Yes.
That's crazy. Yeah, so the casket was in his pawn shop. I remember that, and he was crying. Yeah, and he said, I guess this means goodbye. And I didn't know. I thought so. I told Jesse in case Rick Harrison died. So I was like, yo, I think Rick Harrison's about to die. You know, it was his son though.
Yep, and that's
incredible.
And that made clear just from that quote, because I forgot there was a, I guess this means goodbye, and he was the one saying it. Yeah, to his son in the casket, I guess.
Yeah.
And when that's just crazy.
It's insane.
It's insane. Yeah. It's insane.
Had we posted about it when it happened.
Yeah, and that's pretty much, guys, like to sum up where I'm at post movie. It has an open ending because we don't have all the answers right now. But I'm on a mission to just keep solidifying the belief and the stance in this, and then to replicate it. And things might get a little weird on my social media, but at this point I don't care because this needs to be proven.
Damien donated $10 through Super Chat. To Mike, from a survivor from Parkland, I noticed you wrote the city and gun violence in your notebook. Can you please share when you wrote that and what made you write it down? Much love. Heart hands emoji.
So the thing is, I don't even remember writing a lot of this stuff. You know, a lot of the stuff is just like jotting it down. I remember one I'll give you specifically. I remember I was in my bedroom. This is when I lived in the apartment. And I was doodling a bunch of stuff down. And I started crying. And I started writing about children dying. And I started crying. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I went there and I told Bridge, what the hell's wrong? I don't fucking know. And it wasn't long after that. The kids that got shot, the elementary school.
Was it Sandy Hook or?
Sandy Hook, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was maybe an hour later or maybe 30 minutes later, we're on the news and Sandy Hook happened.
Yeah.
So I don't know it's one of those things. I'm just writing stuff down. Sometimes I'm just writing names or phrases or just scribbling or I don't know. And then stuff just like comes out.
And I think that's one of the most disturbing elements to this. Like I do feel like I have a better relationship with it all, but I still, even when I was telling you the M dream that I just had 2 weeks ago, similar to you, Mike, tears just start coming out of my eyes, almost out of my control. And that was kind of depicted even when I woke up from the Joe Barca dream, young Jesse in the bed, like your brain just hits a dead end, and it's hard to. The hardest part of the film, and Mike's character says it, you could show them proof in this film and they'll never believe you, is that we're trying to convey a feeling, because just logically and on paper it's like, okay, sure. But what we're tapping into is this emotional resonance that somehow transcends time. And Mike, doodling and then all of a sudden tapping into something that brings him to tears, or having a dream that brings him to tears. But it's not exactly sadness. It's one of the weirdest emotions I've ever felt, because like we're both able. I think there is a special thing that Mike and I have, is we do have this weird third-party awareness of ourselves from doing YouTube so long, that we think of ourselves as characters and as separate people than we are. Like, I even refer to myself sometimes as McJuggerNuggets or KidBehindACamera, and it's like we're able to look outside of ourselves, but then we're also very emotional. Like from kids, we were very emotional people, very imaginative, and we can easily empathize with certain situations. And I think it really primes us to feel stuff that hasn't happened yet. Like Eric was describing these microtubules, we don't exactly know how it works, but we have an idea that it's through emotion. It's through this weird survival tether or something.
Yeah, totally. It makes total sense just from an evolutionary biology perspective that this would have to do with survival, and that would pivot on those powerful emotions that surround death, nearly avoiding death, surviving the death of a loved one, disaster, deaths of a bunch of anonymous people on the news and CNN, after planes hit a tower, those are the kinds of things that are going to be most impactful for an organism that's like primed to survival, like every organism is. So it makes total sense that that's what it's going to rise to the, like, your awareness
Right.
around precognition more than anything else. But I will hasten to add, though, that once you start doing, like,
At
focusing in on
Brandy333
your
donated
dreams,
$10 through Super Chat. Do these experiences require belief in a God, or are they more a connection to the earth?
I'm agnostic.
Same.
yeah, they don't require any particular spiritual belief or non-belief or anything. I mean, I think they happen to everyone, and it's just a question of whether you pay attention.
I think
but
everybody has like a story of like deja vu or
Yeah.
something like this. Everyone has some version of this.
Yeah, and it seems that people that believe in God or, you know, any number of religions, this actually does fit more within their framework than a lot of atheists I know, because it all fits in within some, you know, divine God's plan. So like, it's like whatever framework you're using, like it can exist within that.
Right.
But it's not a prerequisite to be able to have these experiences or have this ability. I'm totally under the belief that anyone can have these experiences, and honestly, just through this film and the people that have been around me, it can be almost contagious in a weird way. And like my dad, very skeptical about this whole thing, you know, very logical. He had his first precog last year. Ashley never thought in a million years anything like this. She was in the film and she shared a few, but even since the film, she's now double, almost tripled her precog since then. And I told her, I was like, hey, at some point during the stream, come on and share yours, because she's got some crazy ones. I would say crazier than what she had in the movie. She had one spanning like 3-4 months that was spot on, that I would encourage any statistician or probability expert to tell me what the odds are, because it's astronomical.
Yeah. Wait till you have one that spans decades.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got examples. People, precog dreamers I work with, have dreams that are like 2 decades later. It's mind blowing. But what I started to say before, which I think is relevant to this, is that when you start like delving into your dreams, like really seriously looking for precognition, what you're going to notice is, though, that the vast majority of precognitive dreams aren't about deaths or destruction or really terrible stuff. They're sort of more about the kind of emotional upheavals on a daily basis. You know, the kind of things that stand out in your day that are like big. You know, they're big in your day. You know, like the sink backing up, or your cat getting sick, or some weird thing happening at work. You know, it's going to be those kinds of things that you're actually going to dream more about than anything else, simply because those are the things that stand out in your day.
Yeah.
And I think we're pre-metabolizing our lives in our dreams and in our artwork and stuff like that. And so when you start paying attention, most precognitive stuff is that stuff. It's not these deaths and tragedies and things like that. Just because those are relatively rare in our lives, you know, for the most part.
Yeah, mine.
Most of us are lucky. Yeah.
Just this past week, I dreamt the new naked Doritos. It was just I was in a theater setting and somebody was handing out like a silverish bag, and the Doritos had no real. It looked like they had no seasoning or anything, and I was trying them out. And then it was the next day, I see on Twitter that they got the no artificial shit Doritos, and I'm like, okay. And I know why I dreamt that, because I've been starving. I've been starving recently because of my sickness stuff. So like, I wanted some Doritos. Like I mean I dream
about Doritos all the time.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I wish I tweeted that one, but I'm like, bro, am I really about to tweet? I should have. I don't know why I question it anymore. I should just tweet every single dream. Maybe not every single one, but.
Well, that's the problem, though. You're going to find that your biggest precognitive experiences are going to be the ones that you don't tweet.
Right,
and
right.
then you're going to tweet them, and it's like there's just some way in which other people have noticed this. There's just some way in which this phenomenon kind of is slippery. It's like
Right.
a trickster, and it tries to evade being caught or pinned down.
Yes.
And that I think is the most interesting dimension of what I was getting at when talking about you guys as shamans. That, you know, yeah, it is funny that this is happening to you guys specifically because you're the people that people aren't going to believe.
Right.
You know? I think that's essential here. I think that's really essential.
So we're a sick joke to the universe somehow. Oh, geez.
It's exactly right. Yeah.
I mean, why not? Why not give it to us? And I think that is so funny because a lot of the reactions, to Mike's credit, I mean, yeah, we could do this whole stream, and I could when I eventually get that real-time tweet, the first reactions will be it was luck, or there's going to be some denialism, of course, but at a certain point.
At Brandy333 donated $10 through Super Chat. I definitely believe anyone can have these experiences, but what do you think the point of it all is? What exactly are we connecting with? Our intuition gives us the ability to connect. But to what?
It's a good
Our
question.
long self. That's my answer.
So me and Jesse had another conversation where we were wondering while he was filming the movie, when he dreamt about the man telling him his barber is going to die, was he just seeing his own movie? Could he have just closed the loop that way? He's just seeing what he filmed. You know, that's very big. Because and then Jesse said when he shot it, he was like, "Holy shit, that could," you know, it felt like the dream.
That's what I was imagining too, and I even asked you, Jesse, about the Dream Man. You know, were you just precognizing? I forget his first name, Silva.
Yeah.
The actor.
Yeah, and I think I mean, just from what we've learned, all that, it's been a concoction of everything, and it can be very confusing to parse out what's past, what's present, what's future, what is just symbolism, you know, or almost like even sometimes how AI is like making its the slop or whatever. It's like combining so much different shit, like two people into one, you know, and yeah, I think it definitely plays a part. Like, why were those first precogs so powerful? It's like, well, dude, that's your feature film, like that, and that means so much to you. Yeah, definitely. And from Mike and I's first conversation, it was about making a movie in some regard. It's always been the conversation, and here we are. We made the movie, and it's about dreaming our own future. And it doesn't get any more poetic, and it's beautiful. And I'm grateful that, you know, this is how it all plays out. Like, as an artist, there is a beauty in, like, if whatever the script is, it's really good. You know, like it's insane. And somebody did say that, mentioned me and Eric. Yes, the hidden lore is Eric is me like 20, 30 years in the future of the film, or maybe in real life. I don't know. You would tell me, right, if you're me?
See, there's an ethics. Time travelers have an ethics,
Right,
Jesse,
right.
and where there's certain things we're not allowed to say to our younger selves.
Yeah, you'd break it. Yeah, you break the time continuum.
I've been thinking this whole time, like, this guy kind of looks like Jesse in the future. I've been thinking this whole time. Like Psycho Kid Jesse in the future.
It's kind of a non-interference directive, but across time.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up this point as the movie has had its fair share of skeptics, right? And very cynical. There's a lot of audience members that, we're expecting something a bit more narrative based. I guess not recognizing the narrative that's interwoven in this, but I wanted to, we'll get to this question in a second.
Quote Girl donated $9.99 through Super Chat. For Eric, how do you separate normal dreams from ones that might be predictive? Can some be true and false? BC, they're like having visions, right?
That's a great question. We'll come right back to that. But what I found amusing is the people that didn't really give it a fair shot in terms of buying in. And I get it. Like, I was heavily skeptical, even just like Mike too. Like, I had Joe Barca, Joan Voros, the Evan Higgins one, which was crazy, Mr. Harris. And then there were times in my life where they just stopped because I got really busy and I was focused on work, or I just wasn't like in my artist flowy self. I wasn't tapped into my emotions much. But then when I would come back, they would be there and I'd have crazier ones. And it was like each notch moved the needle for me. Every experience got me to now this place of 100% believer. But I empathize with the skepticism, but I just find it funny that where people draw the line. I'm literally communicating with all you guys across space and time in an instant. We're time traveling right now. If I wanted to go to Eric's house or Mike's house, it would take hours to drive there and be there and exchange information. Through this, just even this technology, we're interacting at the same time across space-time. We're already doing it. Or like people wanting to fly, so looking at a bird in the sky and saying how crazy we have metal birds flying through the sky, hurling hundreds of people. Like that's just normal now. Like we have the black box in our hands and we can like pull up information out of the ether, or like AI, or like we have all this crazy tech. And so but you're going to draw the line that you could receive information from the future. Like, is it that crazy? Is it that insane? Yeah. I don't think so at all. We're early. It's the early inning.
Absolutely, and that's what a quantum computer is a thing that may be able to communicate across its timeline between past and future. Not just one direction, but both directions across time. And if the brain is a quantum computer, which a lot of people think it is, then right there you have your answer. The brain is a physical wire to its future. My brain now is connected physically to my brain 10 seconds from now, and my brain 2 years from now, and my brain 2 years ago. It's the same cells, the same same stuff, exchanging information in both directions. I mean, what we call memory is just exchanging information in the forward direction, but if memory goes in reverse, as it probably can in a quantum computer, then that's your answer right there.
It's even nuts that Mike and I can watch a video of ourselves, our family from 10, 15 years ago. Like, that's crazy that is captured time and place and people, and we can revisit that whenever we want. It's kind of disturbing when you really think about it.
Okay, I love it.
But Eric, let's circle back to that question Cold Girl had asked. How do you separate normal dreams from ones that may be predictive?
Well, this is the problem. You don't know a dream is predictive until it comes true, okay? And some people think that, precognitive dreams feel different. They feel more numinous or something. Some people claim that. I think no, because when my experience, strictly recording all of my dreams and then checking for evidence of precognition in them, the ones that feel big and interesting and vivid aren't any more likely to turn out to be precognitive than ones that feel really trivial and boring. So I think my hypothesis, which could never unfortunately be falsified or tested, is that I just assume that all dreams are precognitive. Because why would nature create this ability and then only use it sometimes? It seems to me if some dreams are precognitive, they're probably all precognitive in some sense. But there's no way ever that you're going to be able to compare every single one of your dreams to every single day of your life, your whole life, and verify that. So the vast majority of dreams, even if they are precognitive, you're never going to know how they're precognitive, and it's just going to be a dream, So my assumption is they're probably all precognitive, but there's no way of ever testing that.
That's wild. I never considered that. Yeah, so it's the ones that would stick out are the ones that are bigger and more flashier, deaths or stuff like that. That's interesting.
Yeah, would you say you could feel a difference, Mike, with something that was just random or something that you think had a little more bite to it?
I feel like we used to talk about it being like lucid dreaming sometimes. If it would be lucid, sometimes we would pay more attention to it at least.
Yeah. And I know when we did the Easter Island experiment.
That was one of those ones where
Jimpy donated $9.99 through Super Chat. Have you guys had any precogs that played out completely differently Earl than your dreams foretold?
Yes, we'll answer that. But Mike and I, in the film, we did do an experiment. We sat across from each other. It was beautifully animated. Shout out to Duncan Hatch, the animator, through all the film. It was one of my favorite aspects of the film. It was beautiful stuff. Even though Mike did look like Bobby Hill from King of the Hill. But we did an experiment. We were across from each other. It was a little different context. We were sitting down and we were trying to just see if he would come up with a target or a topic, and we picked location. We just picked location. He had it in his mind. He texted Bridget, picture of the Easter Island head, and okay, let's go. And I remember there was a discernible difference between my logical guesses and what the precog was of Easter Island. And it was this weird, subtle, nagging. It was like a little gnat, but it wasn't in my brain. It was like emanating like from the guts, and then my brain was somehow like translating it, and it was able to like get so specific of Easter Island. But there was a palpable energy to it, and I just kept suppressing it. I think I said 2 or 3 different locations. I was like, it's not Easter Island, is it? And then I kind of gave in because I guess I was embarrassed by it because it was just so ridiculous. I didn't even know Mike was that familiar with Easter Island. It's so random. And it hit. And then we both got really emotional because it was so freaky. But I've noticed.
I cried. Yeah, I cried when you said Easter
we
Island.
cried. But like it's true. And I've done that with a couple other people. And if you guys are very curious about this, try it with somebody, but it has to be somebody that you feel like really in touch with. It can't be somebody that you feel like there's like a facade or like a wall, or somebody you feel guarded with. It got to be somebody you feel like completely unfiltered and comfortable with. But with a lot of the precog dreams, especially over the last few years, the Dorito one got me. I didn't know that one was going to be precog. That snuck by. But with M, when I woke up crying, I 100% knew there was something. I was like, fuck, this is one. Or some of my finance-related ones, other death things, sickness, tragedy, even my dog that I shared publicly. I got like 80 more to share publicly. But yeah, you can start to notice a difference. But it takes time. Like you really got to train, and it's a commitment. And even just in waking life, I was in 2 different stocks 2 weeks ago. I was in 2 different stocks, and there was no logic. I wanted to hold these for long term, and all of a sudden I was just chilling, not really thinking about much. I started to get really anxious. My heart rate picked up, and I was like, what is going on right now? And I started to connect it to the market, and I looked at these 2 stocks. Everything was fine. But all of a sudden, I just started seeing them nosedive. And I was like, is this both of them? Is this one of them? And I really started to parse out which one it was. And I was able to cut it with a knife. And I actually got the specific one. I sold it. And then it dropped 50% literally within 30 minutes. It dropped 50%. I would have lost a significant amount of money. And there were times where I suppressed that. And I was like, dude, relax. You're just scared. You're just fearful. But no, this was something that was literally, it was nagging. It was that same gnat, and it was tapping. And it's something that you have to get better at listening to. And it's something you have to nurture. You can't keep suppressing that emotion. But a lot of circumstances in our lives, sometimes they can force us to suppress that voice. And then we end up in circumstances that aren't to our benefit, or with the wrong people, wrong job, wrong everything.
And there's also, how was it 2016? Like November in 2016, you were first telling me about Ethereum.
Yeah.
It was like worth nothing at that time when you told me about it. And you were like, you should consider putting like $500,000 into it. I was like, oh, fuck that. I probably should have listened.
Yeah, the big one with Ethereum is because there was so much, the movie was already so long, we had to cut so much, but there was a whole finance section that was really awesome.
Chris donated $9.99 through Super Chat. Love you, Jesse. Was the movie your hardest project? Do you have more plans with films? Also, what ails you?
Great question. I will answer that in a sec.
Lucas Taco donated $9.99 through Super Chat. I noticed in some shots in the movie there's a pic of you in the background from your video The Harvest from the Psycho series. Was there any significance in that, or was it just a random Easter egg?
Great question. But back to, with Ethereum, I was telling everybody and their mom to buy Ethereum 10 years ago. I got in when it was at $10. It's now at $3,000 per ETH. I was the same with Bitcoin. And there was a level of logic to it of like, oh, it's the internet, digital money, and all this shit. But no, one of the huge reasons I was so bullish on Ethereum specifically was I had a dream very early on. The price was maybe like $200 at the time. And it was me looking at my phone, and I saw $1,000 even per Ethereum, and it was snowing outside. And it felt so real that I'm like, I know for a fact, because of that dream and how strong it felt, Ethereum will be at $1,000. And wouldn't you know it, December and January 2017 going into 2018, I literally have the picture on my phone. It hit $1,000 even, and there was snow on the ground, and it was nuts. And that has been a recurring theme throughout my life of financially and even career. I mean, you guys heard when I dreamt Eagles Landing 2 years before it happened, and I forgot about it until I refound the journal. And then I was like, holy fuck, I just played it out like I'm a puppet on a string. And it was my biggest like career kickstart. So, yeah, it's absolutely nuts. But the answer, the question was the movie your hardest project? In aspects, yes, because the subject matter is so dark and disturbing, especially predicting people's deaths, and Mike could attest to it, even with his dad and everything. There's a heaviness to it all. And to be in this space, it can take a toll on you, because there's a responsibility to it. And that's where I feel like now it's hard for me, and I know this sucks to hear from a fan perspective, but it's hard for me to do videos or to do other projects when I feel the gravity of this ability is so powerful. I feel like Mike and I's talents, and I don't want to speak for him, but I feel like this goes beyond anything we could be doing in our lives. If I could actually get better at this, like, it changes the fate of history, of our species, of everything. And I think that's probably even with Eric, how he feels like writing about this stuff, where it's like, if it's this fucking crazy, what are we doing? How is this not? How are we not pouring everything into this? I know there's other important things, but holy shit, yeah, I don't know. That's just where I'm at. But as far as other films go or other projects, to be honest, right now I'm in a replication phase. I'm trying to replicate, and I say trying in quotes because it's very hard to not be on my phone all the time and not be wanting to do videos and get my IV drip of fame and money and shit. But no, I want to become a psychic, I want to see how far it goes. I don't know if you guys had anything on that. I kind of just went off a bit.
No, yeah.
Are you tapping in, Mike, or are you not about it?
No, no. It's just not that I'm not about it. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
It's because I've lived these experiences and I don't know how to explain them myself.
Can you think about when say you got the Pawn Stars one or some of these other ones? Have you noticed a trend in what's going on in your life when you've accessed these?
Not really. Maybe depression. But I'm I'm always depressed. So.
Did you have a near-death experience when you were younger?
I've had several times where I should have died. I was almost kidnapped once. Have I ever told you that story?
I might not have, actually.
So I was maybe 4. I had very bad parents. We were wandering around everywhere at 4 and 5 years old. And at the gas station, there was this guy. He was like, "Hey, kid, you want $1?" And he threw it out of his window. And I ran up and grabbed it. And he opened his door to like grab me. I took off running with the dollar. Like, almost died in a house fire. I stepped on a beer bottle and I punctured a blood vessel without realizing it. And so my foot was cut open for 6 months, almost died of blood loss. When that, like, there's several times I almost died.
And Eric, that's a common thing, right? You've noticed is that is the near death that almost primes us to be more looking around the corner.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a common theme in the lives of psychics and shamans is some severe illness or trauma, especially early in life. But yeah, I don't know, it either primes you to be more aware of this stuff or it knocks open a restraining bolt on our psychic abilities somehow. Yeah.
Because you've always felt like you've been in survival mode, right, Mike?
Always, yeah.
Yeah. I've noticed when I was in those states, I felt like I was getting more as well. It's a hard thing to replicate when things are good. But I've noticed, like last fall, I had a dream, and this was actually a back-to-back night, same dream. I was in a casino, playing around, playing table games, playing slots, and then on one of the slots, I hit big, massive win. And I had that twice in a row. And like, I'm still like pretty unwell last year. We're editing the movie. I'm like, I haven't been to the casino in a while. And, but I'm like, you know, I'm on the precog kick. I'm like, 2 back-to-back? What the fuck does that mean? Maybe I don't want to go. Let me just go online. So I signed up for DraftKings. I go on one night for 30 minutes. Put a few $100 in. I hit for $30,000. My biggest win ever on a casino. And the only reason I went is because it was the 2 dreams. And I hit big. And I was like, but at that frame of mind, I wasn't in survival mode. I was actually in a pretty good mood because we were just finishing the edit for the film and we were looking for a buyer. And I felt like times in which I was in survival mode, like fight or flight mode, I got more death-oriented dreams or sickness-related dreams. And then when I've been in a good mood, I've gotten video-related stuff or finance-related or you know, it does seem like, yeah, I am subconsciously querying future information too if it's in the same cluster in my mind. Like, you know, if I'm aiming for like when last year when I tried to get a celebrity death, I saw, so in a little spoiler, my Aunt Jackie's final scene in the film, she's on this rocking chair in this dark abyss. And I had a dream. This was last year. I had a dream that I was walking up to that rocking chair and it was empty. And I was like, wait, this is a dream. And I started to remember, oh yeah, we're trying to get the next celebrity. And from the rocking chair, this smoke formed around it and formed the face of a man. And I'm looking at the face, and similar to like the lottery dreams in the cornfield, it's all blurry and the face is forming in real time. And it looks like some black guy. It looks like an old black man. And I'm like, is that Morgan Freeman? Who?
I remember this.
Yeah, I was like, is that Morgan Freeman? Who is that? I didn't know who it was. It looked like Morgan Freeman. And then the next day, James Earl Jones dies. And I hadn't seen what James Earl Jones looks like now, but he looked like Morgan Freeman because he had a little mustache. The way his hair and his face looked, he had lost weight. And I saw his obituary picture all over my feed, and I was like, holy fuck. And then I'm like, oh, and it associated it with Aunt Jackie because she passed. And it did the rocking chair. That's why they did the rocking chair setup to show death and that. And then why did it do the smoke? It was trying to do like a fucking Mufasa thing because that was my favorite James Earl Jones role. And so it was doing like when Mufasa appears in the clouds with the smoke. And I was like, I was like, damn, I wish I had like, you know, tweeted that one out because that would have been one of them. But so that's
Yeah, I remember when that happened. You told me like Morgan Freeman. Yeah, I remember this.
yeah, crazy shit. Lucas, sorry, I did want to get back to your question we missed. The picture of the harvest from Psycho series. That was a beautiful piece of art from Mary, who has been a longtime fan. I just basically wanted to throw her a bone and get that art in the movie. There's so many things. I wanted to get my friends and family and as many Easter eggs as possible in the film. Jim Bit, those $5. TTS didn't read it, but he said, if we were to accept the premise that all dreams are precog, how do you justify dreams that take place in the past or aren't physically possible in real life?
Well, dreams are usually symbolic. I mean, the fact that a dream is precognitive doesn't mean it's going to be like a video quality, preview of some event. It's really gonna involve your personal associations or symbols related to some future event. So most dreams, almost all dreams, in fact, are symbolic. They're symbolic representations. They're crazy. They're not like things that are literally going to happen in real life. The example that Jesse just described is a perfect example with the smoke, appearing. This is a symbol taken from a movie that's important to Jesse, and all the elements of the dream are symbols added together, glommed into a representation of something that's going to happen. But so dreams always speak in that symbolic language.
And that's one of my favorite. I mean, Eric's section in the film, guys, you got to watch it just for that. Does such a great job with the animations, kind of like explaining really famous examples of precognition. The futility story is never not insane with Titan and Titanic. Even Harriet Tubman flying over the landscape is super compelling to me too.
That was awesome. Because
it's like, you hear some people throughout history and you're like, damn, they sound like they're badass. Like, how was she freeing all these slaves, like doing all... It's like, oh, maybe she did have a little bit of a backdoor trick with precog. And but in it, Eric talks about the associative language of your dreams, and it's something that, guys, if you really are interested in this stuff, and we got a few hundred people that have been staying consistent throughout, this is something you can train. This is something that's real. It's something you can train, and you got to learn how to speak that language, but it's your language.
Zach J donated $9.99 through Super Chat. Can we ever see anything like Eve again?
I think you're referencing to my virtual escape. Anything's possible. Anything's possible. I've said, I literally, if you watch 2 years ago, my 3 years ago, I think, end of year video, I said I'll always be on YouTube. I'll never want to do anything traditional. Like making a movie sounds lame. I literally said that. And then the next year I started making a movie. So I'm not even going to say anything. The universe is a weird way of doing stuff. So, but chat, I want to open it up a little bit more to you guys. We have some really great questions. $9.99 to have your TTS read aloud, but also I'm seeing chat. If anybody has any stories, questions, but yeah, guys, this is something we all can get good at, and it's something that I spoke to that I lost it a few different times, like Mike was describing. There's periods of our life where we're maybe not as in touch, but it's like working out. It's like trying to get better at an instrument or painting or whatever it is. You really got to take time, and it's one of these things that you kind of have to unplug. You really have to limit the noise coming into your mind, really audit everything, and try to get back in touch with real you, not society molded you, or not these versions of you that other people are ascribing to you. Jim Bits says, sorry, last question. What do you guys think is happening with dreams with deceased loved ones? Some of the most clearest dreams I've had.
I've had several of those. One of the most, ones that stuck with me the most is me and Bridget had dreams that finished each other's dreams. So I had a dream that my son's sneaking in here. Buddy, go see mommy.
She's outside.
Okay, well, he's gonna join me for this for a second. So, buddy, let me talk for a second, okay? Come here. Okay. All right. So,
Don't let me.
yeah, you gotta stay in here. So, I had a dream that my father, he was really upset about something. So mine, he was in his old house, and he was blue. Like, have you ever seen the guy that like drank silver, and like his lips turned blue, his skin was blue, and then my dad looked like that guy, and he was flipping out. And Bridget had the first part of the dream, where she said, "I had a dream about your dad last night, and he was blue for some reason."
Robotic Maniac donated
angry.
£9.99 through Super Chat. Michael and you, I do miss Angry Grandpa as well. I miss all the freak out videos, and I miss my granddad a lot, and I miss Angry Grandpa a lot. You guys are awesome.
What did they say about it?
I said he missed Angry Grandpa. I missed the freak out videos. I miss my granddad a lot, and I miss Angry Grandpa a lot. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, I have a lot of dreams about Dad. That was the most significant because she had part one and I had part two, and I don't know even how I would begin to explain something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, Ashley and I had overlapping dreams before, but nothing like that's. And you guys told each other, I'd imagine, then when you woke up.
So she was telling me about her dream, and I was like, bruh, I had a dream. He was blue, and he was inside that. So in her dream, he was ending it going to his old house. And my dream started, I was like filming a video in the old house, but he was blue, and he looked like that guy that drank silver, and he was destroying crap, saying that, he's embarrassed at how his house looks. And Jennifer just destroyed his house. Like, in real IRL, it looked like horse shit. And so it was weird to me that my dream picks up where hers ended.
It's wild.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. That's crazy because it starts to beg other questions. I know we visited ions in the film, and I do know that they do the more in those realms of like telepathy and telekinesis type stuff, and I tried to not go too much into that in the film, but you saw like this is where it is up to citizen science. You saw our trip go haywire there.
At Brandy333 donated $10 through Super Chat. I've got a controversial question for Eric. What are your thoughts on using certain medically supervised substances to help people tap into those intuitive or expanded consciousness experiences?
Yeah, that's a great question. A lot of people ask that. There's a lot of anecdotal and some experimental evidence that psychedelics can intensify precognitive and other psychic experiences. So it's definitely an area that needs research, I would say.
Yeah, and just to be clear, mine are raw dog, so I have not imbibed any. If anything, the more rested, healthy, and sober I am, I feel like I can get more clarity on whatever it is I'm seeking for, and I can guide it. And I'm sure a lot of you guys watching are like, okay, what does any of this do for us? And that's something I've asked myself is like, okay, where do you go from here? Is what's like the actionable advice? Even people that watch the movie, they're like, now what? How does this fit in with my day-to-day life? Eric, what is your general guide on how can the average person use this?
Well, you can use it. I mean, you're someone who's like really using it in the way people fantasize about using it, which is like using it as a superpower to like get, make money. Like you're actually a success story in that regard. People always ask, well, can you get rich on the stock market? Guess the right lottery numbers. And there are a few stories here and there, anecdotes of people doing that. But your stories are like honestly the best as far as the reality of that possibility. So there's that. And there's the possibility of, yes, saving a life because just as what happened with Joan in your movie. But I think the biggest benefit of this is it really gets you in touch with what I call the long self, that is to say, you are huge. You are this enormous creature that extends decades through the universe. And your whole biography is sending you messages back and forth through time. And when you start getting aware of that and start getting it written down, you record a dream, and then you discover, oh my God, my dream was responding to something that happened now in my life, and that dream was a year ago or 10 years ago or 3 decades ago, and it happens. You just get this mind-blowing sense of yourself as this creature that has this 4D reality. You're a 4-dimensional creature, not a 3-dimensional creature, and it's mind-blowing. It's just absolutely mind-blowing, and it just overturns everything that we've been led to believe about our lives, about causality, and everything else. I agree with you, Jesse. I mean, it's like when you start realizing this is real, it's like you can't believe that people are going through life who aren't aware of it.
Yeah.
And
for me, like, what is the use case? I mean, it served me in a lot of ways. I mean, one thing I haven't really posted about yet publicly is because it's just so raw. It is Aunt Jackie, because Aunt Jackie is somebody I was warning for 2 years prior to her death. Michael describes it in the movie. He says a line, it's something like, I kept having like dreams or feeling like that his dad, like he wasn't in them, or that it was like missing or something. And I remember it was 2022 and we were at like the family vacation in North Carolina, and Aunt Jackie she was walking from room to room, and I looked at her and I was like, she shouldn't be here. Like she doesn't belong here. And I just kind of would watch her the first day or so of the trip, and something wasn't, I'm like, isn't she supposed to be gone? And I just found myself feeling like that. And we had a huge argument because I told her, I was like, look, I'm catching this feeling that you're going to die soon, which is crazy. And I would be texting her, telling her, like, and this wasn't just like, she wasn't old, she wasn't like that unhealthy. Like, if you're looking at like an 80, 90-year-old person, you're like, oh, they could die, it makes sense. This was just this powerful feeling of like, oh my God. And I would write it. I had a couple dreams, and she was always associated with this, with birds. Even if you guys watch the Christmas series, she plays one of the ghosts of Christmas past, present, future. Like, we did a little Scrooge thing, and we had her playing as the Home Alone 2 pigeon lady. She was kind of playing as that lady. We had the birds all around her. And in that series, I'm traveling through time. And I'm throwing all this out here just so you guys can go back and watch things and be like, wait, there's been plenty of precog stuff laced throughout all the videos in weird, symbolic, artistic ways. Or like me and Brian, where we had a legal beef and a big falling out for Psycho series with the documentary, and then 5 years later there's so much we cut out from the movie, but it's crazy. Or me and Juliet's relationship. I know I'm going on a tangent, but there's so much to share. Me and Juliet, I had us in that Christmas series. We break up year 5. She moves to Nashville. She gets her songs on the radio. That was like year 2 or 3 that I made that series of the relationship. Everything played out. We broke up year 5. I got her songs on the radio, and she moved to Nashville. It was verbatim. And but back to the Aunt Jackie stuff, the day she went into the hospital for the blood clot, a bird smashed into my glass door in Jersey. And the second I was taking a picture of it, because I knew as soon as there was something with a bird, I always knew there was something with a fucking bird, it's when she dies. The second I snapped the picture of the bird, I get a text from my mom saying Aunt Jackie's in the hospital with the blood clot. And I knew as soon as that happened, I was like, this is it. This is it. And in the movie, I was very much against her playing my grandmom in the end of the scene because I didn't like what it entailed, like what it meant. And I think I was trying to, but she was the perfect person to play my grandmom. I think I was in denial, trying to suppress what I felt and knew would happen. We did that scene 16 times in which I'm talking to deceased loved ones. My Aunt Jackie, who's very much alive, is playing a dead person. And the lines in which she's saying are, "I'm not your grandmom." That's the main line she says. "I'm not your grandmom. Sorry you didn't come to the hospital." It's verbatim. Dream Man takes me away. And what's crazy is that was the last time I saw her in real life. That was it. Was that scene. And it's so fitting that the movie then becomes dedicated to her, but it's like a perfect example of the thing that we're talking about in the film, which is the art precognizing a death or something crazy. And there it was. And for those of you guys that watched the end of the film, little spoiler, tune out if you haven't seen this. Uncle Larry is a cameo at the end of the film. And my character looks and sees, the pant leg and a dress shoe and thinking it's the dream. Oh, it's the Dream Man. But no, it's just Uncle Larry sitting on the plane. Fans know it's Uncle Larry, but the average viewer has no fucking clue who that is. So it works either way. But as the director, I was afraid that fans would be like, "What's Uncle Larry doing on that plane?" So I was like, maybe it is Uncle Larry. And in my mind, the lore was Uncle Larry's wearing a suit because he's going to a funeral. And now you can draw the connection that he's going to the funeral to his sister, my Aunt Jackie. And then the day before my Aunt Jackie died, my Uncle Larry, who's never claimed to have had a precog of my pop-up, his dad, bringing a chicken up to heaven. Uncle Larry has chickens. It wasn't just any chicken. It was the chicken that Uncle Larry named Aunt Jackie after Aunt Jackie.
Jeez.
So it's like, it gets so convoluted. And my mom 2 months before Aunt Jackie's death was having dreams of my Aunt Jackie being stuck in the mud up to her waist and just slowly getting sucked into the mud till all of a sudden she couldn't be seen anymore. And it's like, when we talk about use case, I mentioned my dog Ella, played by Poop John. It was a little weird, but I talk about it was comforting to get that warning because it gives you time to prepare. I mean, that's what these things are doing. Mike's dreams about his dad. It's priming him. It's getting him ready for that inevitable day. And it's emotionally getting him prepared for that. And all the visions and the Aunt Jackie feelings, it was priming me for that in a really beautiful way. And how could I ask for anything differently? If you're going to have a final goodbye with somebody, how about you do it 16 times, say I love you, hold their hand, and dedicate a whole film to them? I mean, I don't think I could ask for a better ending for somebody who mattered so much in my life. And that was from listening to that intuition, listening to that gut stuff, even when it doesn't fully make sense, or my mom having that dream, or Uncle Larry having these dreams. Potentially, I think you could try to stop it. And I think that's a great thing to have. Wouldn't we all like to know? I would hope that something's coming, and you can do something back. I know I'm thinking, me saving a lot of money from the market dropping the two weeks ago and getting that feeling. So for those of you guys that are like, I'm going to tune out, or this movie's corny or whatever, it's like, we're talking about literally fucking time travel. And we're talking about preparing you for some of the hardest, the biggest, and life moments of your life. But not only on a bad side, you can get immense wealth from it. And that's something I want to keep stressing, because people have criticized it, being like, oh, isn't it evil or not right if you use your dreams or whatever for financial gain? But that's people ascribing this negative connotation to it. It's just like what my character was doing throughout the film. I had this negative view of precognition when it's not a negative thing at all. I view it now with how Eric, I think, views it, and he was trying to get across to me in the film, is that this is a beautiful thing.
At Brandy333 donated $10 through Super Chat. Do you believe that spirits can visit us in our dreams? I've had several dreams of Aunt Jackie since she has passed, and I know it's her saying hi. Red heart emoji.
I will answer that. But yeah, I think it's a very powerful tool, and you can use it to get the things you want in life, and there's nothing inherently wrong with that. You know, we need money to survive. Money can bring a lot of good things. Michael and I have used our intuition to do well in our career, to make investments. You know, I've found love. Like Precog has told me who I was going to marry. It told me my other serious relationships. So it has helped clue me in, and it's also clued me in on bad people in my life. So it's a really powerful tool to try to get the best out of this experience. But Brandy, it's a sensitive area to the whole loved ones. Is it them? I know my understanding and belief is that it's not them, not like actually them. It's my interpretation and version of them. But I know other precogs or mediums, they are communicating. I'm open to the idea that it could be. I can't prove one way or another. I just know my experiences from them. I know it's like me kind of talking as them in some regard, but
Right.
I don't know if you guys have any perspective
For
on
me, I dream about Dad a lot, but most of the time they're always like filming new videos. And then I wake up, realize, oh, this video can't exist because he's dead. And as I'm filming, I'm like, oh, this is not a real video, right? But those, for me, it just comes from regrets that I have, that I can't rectify now that he's gone. But yeah, I don't think it's actually him in my dreams.
Has there ever been a time where you felt like an energy that like?
Yeah, I put out my first album. I put a song out about it. It's about me and Dad just like talking, and at the end of the dream, I'm like, well, I got to wake up now, And so I made a song about it. But usually, it's just sad. I just wake up sad and crying. And
Has he ever delivered future information?
I know he had stuff, but I just don't remember. I don't remember most of my life anymore, but he had stories. Maybe, do you remember any? Did he tell you anything?
Your dad?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Dang. I know that he has stories. Maybe the audience will know because he's, put a lot of it out.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
remember.
I mean, Eric, I don't think and I don't know if you wanted to talk about it, but like, being, and I really want to do Eric justice because his book, his Precognitive Dreaming book, is really kind of what reignited even my belief in this. Because I was like, wait, this actually makes sense. Why have I discounted this? And I think out of everybody that I was scouring, Eric, I think, is like the prominent voice for precognition, and is like still very underrated, severely underrated, and deserves way more flowers. But we didn't get in the movie your background non-professionally on precognition, because you're also an experiencer as well.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it was, I was a lifelong skeptic, as I think most people are, and I grew up. My parents were psychologists, and psychologists are like the most skeptical of, psychic phenomena. I mean, they're trained from day one to think of parapsychology as pseudoscience and to reject anything about having to do with ESP. So I grew up in a household that just basically rejected that sort of thing. And, but I had my own remarkable experiences, and including a UFO experience, which got me reading about the subject of UFOs. But then when you start reading about UFOs, you realize that people who encounter UFOs have psychic experiences too. And I was like reading this stuff, like I didn't have any problem with UFOs, but I had a problem with ESP. But then I had to start thinking and realizing, well, you know what? I've had these experiences too. I've just ignored them, and fortunately I'd kept a dream journal for many, many years by that point. And I was able to realize, I've had precognitive dreams, and I've just ignored them. I had a precognitive dream about 9/11, but I just ignored it.
Yeah.
You know, and so then when I started like taking it seriously, it's like, oh my God, I'm having these things multiple times a week, and it's mind blowing, and but it's a huge paradigm shift, and you have to like really jettison a lot of your old assumptions about the world, and you suddenly have this new thing that you really can't share with everybody. It's because so many people will just roll their eyes, so it's not
100%.
something I can talk about, to many
At
people in my
Carson
life.
Bishop donated $10 through Super Chat. What are
keep
your
a firewall
suggestions for
around
having
that.
a good mental diet for better dreaming?
Yeah, I mean, that's the hardest part. Suggestions for having a good mental diet. I mean, if your screen time's over like
Right.
1 to 2 hours, like it's hard. And that's been my biggest struggle. Yeah, I'd have to basically kind of give up my career if I want to get good with it. I think Eric talked about it too. One of his precogs and a lot of mine are shit I'll see on social media the next day. And, which is fine if it's a headline or something, but half the stuff, it is junk and it's just clouding the clarity. So, I mean, the advice is probably stuff you'd all expect. It's just easier said than done. Limit the screen time. But even everything, like I'm running Ashley through The Walking Dead right now. We'll watch 2-3 episodes before bed. Zombies are ending up in the dreams. And I'm like, I don't want these zombies in these dreams. And then, but it'll throw zombies into, something in my real life with then some weird symbolism, and then there's a little nugget of the future hiding somewhere in the whole mix. Whereas if you could clear stop watching Walking Dead, stop going on your phone, and if there's something you really want to aim for, lock in on what that is. Whether it is a career thing, a finance thing, a girl, whatever it is you want for your future. And that's what gets really weird too, is that when I last fall, when I described that casino dream, and then I hit my biggest win, I was in a finance scale. I was like, all right, let me get back to making money because I blew it all in this film. I was like, what can I do? And I was in that aim. And then suddenly, the dreams gave me exactly what I wanted. But it threw me, and this is where, like, I know we touched about it a lot about predestination. Like I kept asking Wargo, like, is it set in stone? Is it are we just playing this all out? And we it's hard to get clarity on that. But that was an example of, like, I would have never signed up on DraftKings. I was not in a gambly kind of mood, but that dream was so powerful it had me play. Just like the story of the woman winning the lottery 19 years later from a dream. It was like, it's almost like I gave it a guide, a container. I said, hey, money, and I mean it, I need it, survival. I spent it all on the movie. And then it was like, here's this possible timeline we could go down if you listen to me. Find a way to gamble. And my brain interpreted that as, and then the win happened. So I think this shit, we're barely scratching the surface. And I would encourage all you guys listening, experiment with me. And only good things can come from it. It's better, especially I think the more of the people that suppress it and don't go with their gut end up not living the best life.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, and I agree with you very much about trying to limit screen time, and I'm just as guilty as any of us about that. But anything you can do to build your attention, to build your attentional muscles. So that means spending as little time on screens and as much time reading books and meditating and building those mental muscles of attention are really, really key, I think. And keep a dream diary, record the random thoughts you have during the day. Keep a notebook with you and record your dreams in as much detail as you have time, and ability to do. I think those are the big things.
Yeah, and
my screen time's out of control.
Is it? How bad is it?
Oh man, 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, I'm right there, dude. It's bad.
The whole day. It's like the whole day I either spend with my kids or on my phone.
Yeah, and I'm like suckling what little clout's left. I'm like trying to I'm like, who's tweeting me? I gotta like it and reply to all these people. Like, have you ever searched my name? Like, are people talking about me still? It's like, dude, you gotta give it up. Just be a monk. But yeah, no, that was the hardest part. And the other, like, I'll be good for a stint, and I'll just like stare off into nature or something, and then you really got to get through your brain's processes and past shit. A lot of people, they'll kind of self-medicate with escapism and social media and stuff. Like if I all of a sudden the stream ends, I'll see what people's reactions. I'll be on my phone for a bit, and then eventually I'll come back down, and then your brain will probably go to, oh, well, I fucking said that stupid thing, or this person said that. And then all of a sudden it'll be like, oh, this person died. Oh, things suck now. Oh, woe is me. Oh, I can't walk properly because my knee hurt. And it's like, your brain is going to have to go through all, like, I'll be like, oh yeah, Storyfire failed. Like, what, bro? Like, that's not even relevant right now. But the brain will do that. And whatever it is in your life, it'll just start conjuring up all that subconscious gunk, and you have to go through it. Like, you're never going to get through it if you keep kind of distracting yourself with more shit. So you got to let your brain go through all that, and it might take months. You might have that much baggage to sort through, kind of like therapy, but you got a self-therapy. And then eventually you can kind of like pay your debt from the past, so you can start to make, roll out the red carpet for your future.
At Brandy333 donated $10 through Super Chat. I'm sorry for asking this again, but I really want to know what we are connecting to. I guess I don't understand that. It has to be something that is telling us these things in our dreams.
It's our future self. It's your future self that's telling you this.
Yeah, because a lot of people, Eric, they'd be like, well, then how can you dream the future of like the planes crashing? And I was like, but then the explanation is like, well, no, we all got fed the news, and that's our experience with the future thing. And so then the bit was, and it does take some getting used to that concept, but correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, but if you don't get exposed to it, you can't see it, right? Right.
You're going to dream about, just the same way, just think of it as memory. It's memory for the future. Okay, it really is. I believe it's part of the same system in the brain. It's just that memory goes both directions. And so, for instance, take an example. I don't remember, I don't remember 9/11. I was not in, New York. I actually was in Washington, D.C., but I didn't see the events, happening, but I was watching on CNN. I remember the event because it was, I got it through the media and through my culture. And for, months afterwards, that's all you saw on television was those planes crashing into the towers and stuff like that. So it was very much, I remember 9/11, but I remember it because I saw it in the media. And the same way, we can pre-member future events and future experiences. They can be experiences happening to us personally, but they can also be big news stories, big things happening in the media, things that you read about or things that you see on Twitter or whatever. So it's the same kind of thing. It's the same thing. It's just going in the opposite direction.
Yeah, I found that story in the movie fascinating about the guy that predicted 9/11 and then he took the picture, and that blew my mind. That's wild. That's
the fact that he did the picture shows just how confident I feel like he was that this would happen.
Right.
Well, he had tons of other examples. I mean, he'd already had tons of precognitive dreams by that point, and they were all kind of things, big news stories in Britain where he lived in London, and things like IRA bombings and crash of a Concorde jet, lots of stuff that would be news stories, on British, on BBC or whatever. He had tons of precognitive dreams about that stuff. So that's why he knew to take, like he was able to wake up and say, this is going to happen somehow, and then he'd draw it or paint it, and then go have a picture of himself taken with it.
That's wild.
The story of Elizabeth Crone is also one that was like wild, like, to see it depicted in the animation of struck by lightning and then was able to, get the plane crash or the plane really landing safely, but these compelling images of the passengers on the plane. And the idea there is, again, I guess that it was such a trauma that it then primed her to be really looking more in the future for more like traumatic events. And I think everyone having those precognitions of 9/11 or say that Titanic is like, these are some of the biggest events in history. So it makes sense that, we're going to be more magnetized to them. I had shared on social media my Trump assassination attempt dreams. And that was a really visceral clip. I had a fan just reach out to me in the last few days. I don't know if you're in here in the chat, but they dreamt the night before Charlie Kirk getting shot. And they had his exact name and the fact that he got assassinated. Had that been shared publicly, that could have been potentially avoided. We would have never known that would have happened, but that's where it gets crazy. That you can dial.
How about, there's the kid. So when Chris Benoit killed his wife and kids, this guy edited 2 nights before the Chris Benoit Wikipedia page, and he was pulling a joke, but he put that Chris Benoit killed his wife, his kid, and himself, and the news hadn't come out yet. Like, no one knew Chris Benoit was dead yet, but he edited the Wikipedia page, and he got investigated for this.
Wow. And that's something that happens all the time too. Like, especially Mike being a super funny dude. It's like, we'll make jokes. We'll make a joke, and then it's the joke that ends up being the precog thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. And it's like, we could sit here and probably name, 100 more famous examples. I know Eric has done a lot of like presentations on this and stuff of famous examples where when you see them all lined up, you're like, clearly there's something here. And, when you hear more personal experiences, I love when Julia Mossbridge in the movie's talking about all the people in the science community needing, they don't care about the statistics. They want to have personal experiences to really make sure, you can see, because you can always be like, all right, Mike and Jesse are lying. Eric's trying to sell something. We're all trying to sell this movie. The guy who everyone's looking for attention, money, or they're crazy. And then I guess that makes sense that each person has to experience it. So then, I don't know, but I don't think that's going to happen because we're all modern society right now. And what I was trying to get at towards the end of the film was I was hoping that, all right, Ions didn't have the answers. Eric had a lot of answers, but I was looking for the smoking gun. That was like on a recurring thing. Where's the smoking gun? And I thought, okay, Jones like, oh, I don't think the science people know. It's more in the religious, community. So at the end, I try to find a monk and try to, go into the Eastern realms, be like, all right, did the monks precog? And he's like, yeah, they almost like it's normal. And you'd think that they would be the ones that can tap in more easily and have precogs, but I think they're missing kind of the more Western materialism to use it as a tool or something.
They also are taught not to get attached to those precognitive experiences. This is like my frustration with the Buddhists is that they teach you to meditate, but then they also teach you don't get attached to those visions that you're going to have while you're meditating, because you don't want to get attached. The idea is to not attach, and so on. So don't fixate on these like amazing like little visions you're going to have while you're meditating. Well, it's like those are the visions. Those visions are precognitive.
So their main aim is complete is complete nothingness, right? Is that?
Yeah, no, it's not nothingness, but the point, it's non-attachment. So like,
Gotcha.
it's like you're supposed to like ride the waves of your mind, and that means including your thoughts, including random thoughts, and including like visions and voices that you might hear or whatever, which is the kind of stuff that like a remote viewer or a psychic is going to like home in on, because they know that's okay, that's where there's some good stuff here, and that's what you've learned to do intuitively, Jesse. But yeah, Buddhists are told not to focus on that stuff. But there's even a new book out about psychic experiences of monks, of Buddhist monks, because they have these things all the time, because they're training their brain to be focused and attentive. So that's exactly what I was saying you need to do if you're going to like build up your ability. You just have to ignore the teacher or the priest there who's telling you not to focus on those things. You just like, you bring a notebook and you open your notebook when you have one of those visions and write it down, because it's going to turn out to be valuable.
So it's on one side we have the guys in the cultures that could be really good at this, but they don't have the emotional attachment necessary to get all these. And then on the Western side, we have the people that are so busy and distracted and not valuing this downtime and all this stuff. So then I guess and see where it's like the lost art, and you see kind of like the rebels all together having these experiences, but then there's no funnels to or respect given towards this realm. And I could see where then everything just kind of gets lost in the sea. And I think it does take weird anomalies of like a me or a Michael or some other people out there that have an awareness, that have the experiences, but then also have audiences that can really start to, lend some credence to the space. But I, in your mind, Eric, like you're watching us go to ions and the experiments where like they weren't there. I mean, it's cool that right now this is an alternate timeline where this is what happens if Michael came with me to Eric Wargo's house. This is where we're getting that moment. We don't have time. We're not going to be doing any experiments or anything, nor would we. We're probably not going to get much. But what do you think, Eric? It would take for a me or a Michael or science. What does it take to really break through the stratosphere in this space?
Sharky80 donated $20 through Super Chat. I had a dream one time about my grandparents who passed away. They wanted to talk and they told me we had just visited your father. That next morning I asked my dad if he had dreamed about them. He said yes. It freaked me out. With
Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, it is. It's pretty disturbing, especially when it's that close to home. That with family members and death. But Eric, what do we need to do?
Okay, well, I got a two-part answer. I mean, two things have to happen. First of all, there's the citizen science part, which you've mentioned, and that's that my book is a pitch for, is getting people aware of this topic and having them experience it themselves. As Julia Mossbridge said so well in the film, like people have to experience it themselves. And I think the more we can break down some of these barriers and just raise awareness about it. I mean, just giving people that concept of precognition will, like, a lot of people will give them that kick that's, oh, yeah, that's what that one dream was that I had. That was precognitive. Okay, so there's a word now that they can put on that. So I think more people having these experiences, the better. And your film is exactly the kind of thing we need to raise awareness, get people to go, oh, my God, I had those experiences. And the more you do that, you break down that wall of kind of ridicule and resistance that you're going to get, people rolling their eyes, at you. I mean, the more people who've experienced this themselves, you can kind of push back against that skeptical wall. The other thing that has to happen is something that's not in our power, either yours as a filmmaker or mine, and that's that physicists have to start talking more about what's called retrocausation. That is to say, the idea that causes can travel backwards in time and not just forwards. And this is something that is actually happening in physics. More and more physicists are talking about this. But since all the other academic fields sort of take their not marching orders, but they sort of look to physics as to give them permission to talk about things. When physicists start talking more openly about retrocausation, that will open the door to like biologists saying, well, how might this be happen? How might this be working in living systems and in brains? And then psychologists will be able to say, oh, well, maybe all that psychic stuff isn't so ridiculous after all, you know, but it's going to have to come from physics. So I think for the academic world and the scientific world to take it seriously, that change has to happen in physics. But I think it's got to be met with that sort of mass grassroots kind of awareness that this is a thing, this is real, this is not something to make fun of. It's serious. It has real mental health implications for people. You know, this is not a joke, and it's not fakery. It's not, you know, this is not something that people are making up. You know,
Right.
It's not something that millions and billions of people throughout history have just made up stories in order, you know, because they want to get famous or something like that, which is the most ridiculous thing in the world, because the last thing you're ever going to do to get famous is talk about a precognitive dream.
Right. It actually
You know?
might be the opposite. Yeah, you're going
It's
to
the
lose.
opposite,
You're
yeah.
going to lose all credibility.
Yeah, right.
Yep,
Right.
exactly right. No, I agree. I mean, I have been seeing on X, on the feeds, it does seem like physicists are starting to uncover and look more. Would you say it is increasing over the last few years?
Yeah, it's happening, but it's going to be a slow process. It's a paradigm shift, and paradigm shifts in science don't happen easily, and a lot of old scientists have to die.
Right.
For you know, some of the old assumptions to break down, and people start talking in new ways. So
Yeah,
it'll happen. I think it'll happen.
No, I was pumped because I when we ended up on Amazon for the film, I searched precognition. Don't dream about me is first thing that comes up.
Nice.
And that's the win. And that's what I was looking for. Is years ago when I found your book, I'm like, where's the movie on precognition? I want to learn more about it. I want to feel vindicated. And now that was achieved. So I think it's something that now that it's out there and the slow burn, people that are meant to find it will find it. And yeah, hopefully we can, keep this conversation going. We are past 4 o'clock. If you guys want to jump, you can. I'm going to keep it going just myself. It's really up to you guys. I know, Mike, you might have another show to go on, or wasn't sure.
Yeah, I'll stick around a few more minutes, but yeah, I got Queens to do. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Mike.
I have to jump off. I have to jump off because I've got I have to take care of my kids now.
Okay.
My wife has to go.
Well, Eric's going to jump, but guys, I wanted to take a moment to shout out Eric's books, and if you wanted to talk a little bit more about them before you leave, because you have, was it 4 books now?
5 books. Yeah.
5 books.
Yeah, the one that's relevant to this conversation is Precognitive Dream Work and the Long Self, and I'm going to be teaching this as a course starting next Sunday, a week from today. You can go online, you can find information about it on my website, ericwargo.com, or just go to morbidanatomy.com. They have a lot of courses about really interesting topics, and just get on their website, Morbid Anatomy. And I've got my last 2 books are about precognition and the arts and creativity, because I think, like I said, I think that's actually, even more people can identify with that in a way than with dreams. A lot of people don't remember their dreams, but they do get the idea of being creative and maybe prophesying something in something they had created, like a film. So.
Yeah, and so if you guys are super interested in this topic like I was, you can go on to Amazon, literally just type in Eric Wargo. You can find all his books. You check them out. And yeah, man, thank you so much for coming on here and being so awesome in the film. I don't know if you remember, but I sent you a video. It was after I first read your book. And I said something like, yo, we got to meet up. I was like, because in my precog not the pineal gland, I'm making a joke, but I was like, I know we're gonna meet up, and it feels important, and here we are. It was great because your book inspired me, and to have you in the film, it's awesome, and I hope it inspired you somehow. And
It has.
Thank
has.
you.
Your film really has inspired me, and that's like given me a lot of hope about this topic because, yeah, I mean, like I said, that wall of skepticism is so powerful. There's only so much you can do with books because people don't read anymore.
Yeah,
Well, let's
yeah.
see who's the next
And-
person to do something with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jesse, you're.
I feel like Eric should be like, I feel like this should be you full time. Like, I feel like this, like, honestly, I feel like this is it, you know?
Yeah.
But I appreciate your wisdom and insights and just for being yourself. And then thank you, man, for joining us. And yeah, I'll definitely see you around.
Yeah, definitely. Totally. Keep up the conversation.
Hell
Thank
yeah.
you very much, Jesse.
Oh,
I'll
see you,
take
Eric.
it. And thank you. Thank you for all the questions.
All right, guys, we're still live. Eric's just jumping out. Mike's still with us, but he is. You are hopping on locale.
Soon, yeah.
Yeah.
I left a second ago because I have his book somewhere over here. I was trying to pull it out so I could show him I had it, but
Oh, you did buy your own copy.
wait, yeah, I bought my own. Yeah.
Oh, did I send you it?
No, you told me what to buy and I bought it.
Oh, okay, gotcha. You didn't read it, but you have it.
I have it. That's not for half the credit.
Turns out Mike didn't
I
even
got
watch
it.
the movie.
Of course I did. The parts that I was in.
I mean, guys, this is like this is you got me and Mike together. If there's any questions about our roles in the film, any more precog stuff, because honestly, like this is the last time, in my opinion, I think I'll be really talking in depth about precog on this channel.
I'll turn my light off real quick.
If I am talking about precog anymore, it'll be on general social medias and on my second channel. But as far as McJuggerNuggets goes, this is pretty much it. So hope you've really been enjoying this conversation. Yeah, you didn't have any burning questions for Eric?
Who, me? Mm-hmm. No, honestly, like, it's just one of those things. I guess the only question that I was going to ask before he left was, does he have any predictions that he thinks going to come next? Does he have anything that he thinks is coming?
Like his own precog, or more like where he sees this space going?
Precog.
Precog. I don't think so. It's
one of those things, like, you don't really know what is something until it happens.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, and I'm thinking about any that I have or any that you have. I don't know. I'm trying to think of anything that is like still the loop hasn't completed yet. Well, I guess I'm waiting.
I had that weird moment when my aunt was dying. First, her favorite numbers, I forget what they were now, but her favorite numbers was her time of death.
Bro, oh, yeah.
That happened. And while that happened, I was sitting there, I was talking to Jesse about it. I was like, wouldn't it be weird if she died at the time? Because my cousins were talking about that was her favorite numbers. I was like, wouldn't it be crazy if that's and she did. She died at that time. And then when that happened, I had this weird moment where I remember like precogging sitting in that in the waiting room of the hospital. And I remember
it felt like a deja vu kind of.
It was definitely different to deja vu. My brain felt like it flipped and twisted in my head. Like it was like a whoop feeling. And I felt like I remember looking back at that moment that I was currently living. Like I was like the old me was looking at it at that time.
Right. Yeah, I had some weird ones like that where times where I'm super still, I feel like I almost like connect with other versions of me throughout my life when I was really still.
Right, that's exactly what it felt like. And I've never felt that before or since. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that's super interesting. At some point, guys, I want to have Ashley come in because she's got some crazy dream stuff. I'll probably wait till Mike jumps for that. But dude, it's so cool to have you to be talking like this publicly, to be on a stream together. I know it was weird. You guys saw us, for those that did, when Mike's doing on the Locale Universe, the show that they do with Keem, we had kind of like squashed the beef in a show, but at that point we had already squashed the beef. So we were having to do this weird theatrics thing, but we're good. But I wanted you guys to be aware that it was a hard thing to keep secret. But it's just super poetic that we came together for this film and shared all our stories. We still chat. We still chat all the time.
Yeah, for sure. It was almost impossible to keep, but I didn't even tell Keem or Boogie what the movie was about because I had already betrayed you once. I was like, I'm not going to betray him again and like spoil it with his movie. I wasn't talking about shit.
I like that people caught on to you saying scurrying around like a rat in the deleted scene.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I forgot I did that when I was watching it. Yeah.
But it was a really good scene. Mike and I in the hotel room. I really love when I'm like really clinging on to this shit, and Mike's just like, you know, you're talking to the crew, and you're like, "Are you just gonna keep enabling this? Like, this is crazy."
Yeah, it was crazy. So Jesse kind of touched in on it. So when he was at my house, he told me that I was going to get COVID and that Tina was going to betray me. And I don't think you put the betray stuff in the movie.
No.
He told me privately that Tina was going to betray me and that I was going to get COVID. And the day that both of those things happened, we're in San Francisco.
Yeah. Mike was like shouting on the phone outside the lab.
Fucking Tina betrayed me. She was like talking shit, and I was like, I fired Tina that day. I was like, you're fired. It is what it is. I hired her back, but it was crazy because Jesse was like, hey, remember the conversation? And then I remember specifically, I made a joke like, oh, now, yeah, but now I got to get COVID. Well, the universe responded.
And that was one of those ones that, like, even warning you, I'm like, I don't even know how that would have changed. Like, how could you have gotten out of that?
Right. Yeah. Well, I packed up after I said goodbye to you, and I went right to the hospital because I had COVID symptoms. So.
Yeah, and that was something, guys. Like we couldn't reschedule the shoot. Mike, like we tried to film with him a different time. He had COVID. It was literally like a month-long COVID.
It was bad, and then it like almost killed you.
Yeah, and I'm still over here. I'm like, I'm winded, brother. I want some.
I'm winded too, but that's because I'm a fat ass.
I mean, you look way like different from the movie, dude. So.
Yeah, like I said, it's a true story. I'm sitting there. I have the COVID. I'm like, when I went to the
You
doctor,
sounded like a boomer right there. I had the COVID.
I had the Rona. I had it. I got weighed at the hospital. I was like 440 pounds. I was like, oh fuck. I was like, Jesus Christ. So I immediately just started dieting right after the movie. I'm like 350 right now. So it's not like tremendous, but I'm working on it.
One of the things, like Mike's notebooks were pretty expansive. A couple things that were out of it that were real quick was you had Trump winning the presidency again.
And I also had him, he wasn't going to win back to back. I said he was going to win, lose, and then win again.
Right, which is fucking insane. You had 2024. You put snow in Somerville. Did that happen? Did you guys get snow last year?
Did it snow last year? It did. Oh no, it snowed this year.
Yeah, like this winter.
I can't even keep track anymore. Was that the beginning of life moved so strangely? I think it was the beginning of January.
Yeah, I think 2024 going into 2025. I think because you had written it would be the coldest winter in Somerville and there would be snow. And that
I did say that. Holy shit.
Yeah, and it was written years ago, bro.
Holy shit, I did say that. I forgot about that shit.
Yeah, and then I remember, I think it was like on your Twitter or something, it was like you posted like a snow pic or like the kids were, I don't know what it was. But I was like, what the?
I fucking forgot that happened.
Because that was some shit in like Year Without a Santa Claus where it's like snow in Southtown or something.
There be no snow in Southtown. And then there was the, I told you, like, when Mia is 4, me and Bridget were going to separate.
Yes. Now, and I want to really be clear on this. Mike told me this in person that, and this was, I think, Mia was maybe 0 years old.
I think it was pre-Mia.
I think it was pre-Mia. And you knew the kids would be there, or it was like Mia was maybe still in the womb or something. And it was like, when Mia turns 4, you and Bridget are going to split up. And this was years ago.
And I remember I wrote you because it was like Mia's birthday. I was in the hotel room. And I was like, hey, I just split up with Bridget.
And now, do you think you could have avoided that? Or like, I mean, I feel like that was a fated thing then.
I mean, I don't think I could have avoided it.
Because that's what's weird is some of these seem more wiggly and others seem not. I don't know.
It's like, I'm sure I could have avoided it, but it's like the chain of circumstances that happened in our relationship, I feel like it was going to happen either way.
Right. And how do you feel now? You don't have anything now. Any feelings of the future? You had, and this, guys, remember this. This stream will be on the channel. It'll be saved. Michael had one. I think it was in the movie about asteroid coming.
Right. Yeah. I said it was going to come back in like 2036 or something.
Yeah, I think 2029 it first shows up maybe, and then it comes back again in 2036.
Right. Loops back around in 2036, yes.
Does it impact, do you remember?
I think so, yeah.
Well,
in 2036.
We got a little time to prepare.
Very little time. I'm going to get out of here.
Yep.
I got, you go do Queens. Nice talking to you, Jesse. Let me figure out how to end this thing. I don't know how to use Zoom.
Anything that's red probably is exit. But thank you, Mike, for joining us. Guys, show some love to Mike, Kid Behind the Camera. You find him still vlogging on his channel. But mostly he's also doing Local Queens live show. And
that's why my hair's pink, by the way, you guys.
Yeah, they were saying, is that a rash?
So, look at this shit, dude. They hit a goal for me to dye it the other day.
Jesus.
I got to redo it where it's not like, it's like darker here than here. I got to fix it.
Yeah, I hope it's not like stuck onto your scalp.
I think it probably is both.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for having me, Jesse.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you being in the film, dude. All right, see you, Mike. All right, guys. So I'm going to kill this screen. I'm going to go full screen for just a little bit. If you have any questions about my personal experiences, the movie, let's try to keep it all just on that topic. And then we're going to get out of here. And then if you guys want to go back to any moments in the stream, I'm going to leave it up for everyone. I'm already losing my voice. But guys, hope you've really been enjoying this. If you guys haven't watched the movie, links are in the description. It's on Apple, Amazon, Vimeo, and YouTube Movies. So you can literally just search Don't Dream About Me here on YouTube and cast it onto your TV or whatever, watch it. We did roll out on YouTube Movies in Canada and UK on Amazon. And we're rolling out more countries on those platforms as time goes on, and we have more platform announcements in the future. But yeah, guys, I'm going to hang for just a little bit longer. Ash, you want to tell your story? Brady says, favorite stream you've done. Thank you. A little different. I know it's not for everyone, but for the ones that are interested, it's all crazy. It really is crazy. I've had all these experiences, and it's still fucking crazy. Just because of the implications and what does this mean? How, I don't know. So if anybody has any questions, what I'll do is I'll even lower TTS to $4.99 to really make sure if you guys have something you want to say, I get to see it. I'll probably only be live maybe another 15 minutes. My voice is kind of giving out already. But Ashley's here. Now you guys saw we talked about Mason. You could bring up, slide this chair. Oh yeah, actually slide one over there. Is a feeling that we had when Mason first came to Dallas. Like he had been there before. Nothing crazy, right? And then the fishing kids won. Absolutely nuts. Saw these kids verbatim as they were in a dream. Saw them here the next day. We've never had kids here ever. Especially not the trespass and use the lake. So it's fucking crazy. But Ashley's had a few stories. And my mic's right here. So you kind of got to talk into my...
Hello.
Yeah. Talking to my chest. But she's going to share a few of her experiences she's had over the last 2 years. Just a few more interesting ones that I think one of them trumps what we talked about in the movie. Just to really show that anyone could have these experiences.
For sure.
And that the more you train it, that intuition, the better you can get at receiving future information. So.
Even to just begin with, like I've said, even in I think it was my most recent Instagram post, I've never really had any of my own experiences until meeting him. But like we've discussed, and we're like, why is that a thing? Well, I feel like, just being more present. I'm sleeping better than I was before. I mean, I was a college student full time, and I was also working full time. Like, I was too stressed. I was sleep deprived. But now, as the years have gone on, I've gotten better with that, being more present. So yeah, I've gotten more than a couple since the movie has ended, and I feel like I got my biggest one.
Start small.
Pretty recently.
Start small and work your way up.
Start small, okay.
Do the train cars.
Okay. When was that? That was earlier this year, I think.
It was only 4 months ago.
Yeah. It feels like much longer than that. But I had a dream that I was on a train. Mind you, I've never really been, I think I've been on a train maybe a few times. I was on a train, and I was ordering breakfast. There was like a waiter. There was a whole restaurant in this train.
So you were in like a train
car kind of thing.
Okay.
That I've never even been in one of those. Oh my God, I'm watching the squirrel right here. He's like, I'm waiting for Jenny to freak out. But yeah, I was ordering a big stack of fruit pancakes. Like, with just giant stack with all types of fruit on the top. That was my dream. So bizarre, so weird. And then I think it was literally the next day. I did not tell Jesse this. I did write it down though.
I'm playing. I never played through Paper Mario and the 1,000-Year Door, older game, and I was playing through it. And so she came down, sat down on the couch while I was playing, and what did she see on the screen?
He was in a train, like a train car.
I was in a train car, and not only that, but
like
there was a restaurant.
kitchen.
There was a kitchen and a
Yeah.
restaurant, and I was stuck at this part. I didn't know what the fuck to do. So I'm at this part in the game for, I'm not kidding, like 2-3 hours.
while.
I'm stuck there, and Ashley's just.
And I like at some point I finally, because I couldn't handle it anymore. I finally blurted out. I was like, I had a dream last night about a train car that had a whole restaurant, everything. It looks just like this. That it like is so bizarre. But I said it's missing one key detail, one little detail. And I'm looking for the pancakes.
Yeah.
And he's going through this whole game, and
I'm
there's
like,
all
oh,
different
I'm like,
food items.
yeah.
But I didn't tell him about the pancakes. I was like, I want to see if it'll come up. So we were joking about it. He was like, oh, is it this? Is it the soup that comes up?
Yeah,
and I was
right,
like,
right,
nope,
right.
nope, it's not it. It's not it. And then, finally we give up. He ends the game, and then we see that Matt Stoney.
Let me put a background. When Ashley and I first met, we were just kind of bullshitting, and I put on Matt Stoney. Matt Stoney's a competitive food eater, and he makes these crazy videos. He'll eat 20 cheeseburgers in a minute, whatever. And we were watching that when we first started dating, just as like a funny, guilty pleasure. Yeah. And so anytime he releases a new video, we're always like, oh, we got to watch Matt Stoney's newest video. Matt Stoney has barely been posting a video once every so many months. And this fateful night, I'm like, oh, Matt Stoney came on the new video. I put it on, and there's the fruit pancakes.
There's the giant stack of pancakes that I was looking for, that we were joking about. Like, it happened right after the train car thing. I was like, there it is. There's the train car, and there's the pancakes. All happened in one day, within a few hours of each other. I'm like, that just like, that was my dream. That was it.
And like, it doesn't get any more clear than that. And why did she dream that? I would say she was exposed to that train car for 3 hours.
Yeah.
She just sits there and watches me game sometimes, and that's all she was staring at for a chunk of the day. And then those pancakes looked hella good.
I love pancakes.
And so survival brain's like, yo, these pancakes, remember that, because you can eat that shit.
Yeah, and we wait months for a Matt Stoney video. It's just nostalgic for us, because it was something that we watched from the very beginning, even before we started dating. So it's just, I don't know, it was all right there. It all happened.
Yep, now let's jump. And so that was like, kind of like, yeah, let's jump to the garage one.
Yeah, the garage one, short and sweet.
I was in my dream,
I was upstairs at the RiDGiD house and I was looking out the back window and I noticed that the garage lights were on, but all of the doors were closed. But with all of where the light was shining, I could see like movement of like shadows underneath, so I knew people were in there. So in my dream, I'm kind of freaking out because I'm like, oh my god, somebody just broke into our garage.
Yeah, it was similar to the fishing kids where it was like, oh, we got a trespasser. Yeah.
It was a fear-based dream. Woke up, whatever, didn't really think too much of it. And then it was that next night, it was late at night, Jesse was taking the dogs out. And when he came back in, I met him at the door. He said, hold on, I'll be right back. For some reason, the garage lights are on. And
which has never happened.
I was like, oh, okay. And then, I'm shutting the door. And literally as I'm shutting the door, I remember the dream that I had the night before. And then I quickly, as fast as I could, I opened back that door and I yelled to Jess. I was like, wait, whoa. I said, do not go in there, because I was afraid if it was anything like my dream, there was going to be people in there breaking in. So I was like, Jess, this was my dream. And I blurted out real quick. I was like, this was it. This is what happened. Don't go in there. There, whatever. So weird. We didn't even go out to the garage that day. I don't know why the lights were on in the garage. Neither of us went out there. So after that, I watched you. I went upstairs and I looked out the back window.
Mr. Misturb 271 donated $4.99 through Super Chat. If you like Marvel, which Marvel movie is your favorite?
Sorry, I'm not a Marvel fan.
Iron Man. Back to your story.
But I went upstairs and I looked out the window and I was so nervous, but I was watching Jesse be very cautious, approaching the garage to check it, see if anybody was in there. Thankfully, nobody was in there.
Yeah.
But weirdly enough, the garage lights were still on.
Yeah, everything was fine, but it just showed that survival kick in. Somebody's here. The light's never on. Literally the night before she dreamt it, and day before.
Yeah, and mind you, when you're going out to the garage to check this and this is happening, it's well after midnight.
Fight or flight kicks in, and clearly her brain snapshotted that and primed it for her the night before to said, hey, look out for this.
It's one of your biggest fears. At night, somebody anything happening at nighttime when you can't see.
And now, guys, this is the one that is fucking nuts. So for any of you guys that are still on the fence, it could have been coincidence, whatever. Listen to this one.
So then this was in this past spring. I had a dream where
it was actually in the winter.
I thought it was spring.
No, it was. That's when it happened.
Yeah, that's when it happened.
Her dream was in the winter.
I had a dream that my mom was telling me that she, quote unquote, dad collapsed.
And Ashley tells me she wakes up.
Yeah, there wasn't much left of the dream. It was just that dad collapsed.
And Ashley tells me that we're making breakfast the next morning in real life. Yeah. She tells me about it. And she's like, oh, thinking it's literal about her dad. And I was like, no, Paul Trout in the movie talks about confusing his dad with his grandfather and having a heart attack or a stroke. And I told her, I was like, maybe dad collapsed is her dad.
Yeah.
And she was like, maybe, I don't know. She said that collapsed.
Maybe, but I was like, I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know. This is just very weird. And then, had that dream. We always kept it in the back of our mind.
Because of all the precogs, we tell each other, and then we're like, well, let's wait to see if that happens.
I was kind of waiting for this one to play out.
We kind of knew there was more bite to it.
Yes. So randomly, one day, we're outside doing something, whatever, and I get a phone call, and it is my mom, and she told me, quote unquote,
first words out of her mouth.
She said, my dad collapsed. And there's,
That's it.
That's the dream. It finally came, the full circle. It happened. Because at the time she said dad collapsed, obviously I'm thinking my dad.
Your brain jumps to fear.
But a lot of time, but then after it happened, I'm like, I should have known, like, it was more of my pop-up, because my mom doesn't refer to my pop-up a lot of times as pop-up. She always refers to him as my dad. She's always like, my dad this, my dad that, whatever. So, yeah.
Makes sense. So, guys, that's 3 quick rapid-fire stories that have happened since the movie. Pretty crazy. And it, like, that last one kind of informs us that for at least those, say, 4 months in between, it seems like that was set in stone.
Yeah.
Because to get even the mom call, the literal words out of her mouth, the feeling associated with it, spot on. Yep. Almost as if that was fated. And what did that do for her? You know, you're like, okay, so what does that mean and what does that do for her? I think it prepared her to get that call. Had heightened emotion during it, was afraid, oh my God, you know, you're always afraid you're going to get a call like that. And it completed it. So it was kind of preparing her.
But also to preference, like, he was okay. He was fine. He recovered. He's all right today.
And it can give you the opportunity to send texts and see if things can change.
Yes.
And Ashley was very proactive in trying to help people's health and her fam. And it's something that is something that we can all tune into. And Ashley is that great example of having never experienced this for 25 years. And then just in the last 5 or 6 has had almost 10 experiences now, some that are like fucking insane. So guys, I hope... I've
had a lot of little ones in between that, but like those are like the 3 like big ones I would say for the year that I refer to the most.
And now that we're on the wave, we're gonna have way more probably as our life continues.
Yeah. I mean, I even had a little one like last week, but like it's just like they just keep happening now. Yep.
So guys, if you want to have your own, open your mind up to it and start to pay attention to those dreams and just have more awareness. But I'm gonna kick you out because I'm gonna end the stream, guys. My voice is losing it, and the lighting's getting dark here. But thank you guys so much for the donos and the viewings and the comments and all the support with the film. Like I said, links are in the description to watch the movie. If you haven't yet, I don't know how many posters we have left, but we have both awesome posters. I'm signing all of them. We still have some signed, so make sure you order those. And J Game says, nice shirt. Hell yeah, bro. Represent. Ashley got these for us, so maybe for season 2 we got the crew shirts. Oh, we got
Atlas Entertainment 1 donated $5 through Super Chat. My friend in DC has a vision board pic that looks just like the house you visited for your interview. He freaked out when seeing that house in movie.
That's crazy. Thank you for sharing that.
At Brandy333 donated $5 through Super Chat. I had a dream for Vita. You took Ashley to a hotel. She's hoping for a proposal, but you got her an aquarium. That was before the turtles.
Maybe something to it.
Michael McFarland donated $4.99 through Super Chat. Thanks for an awesome stream, Jesse. Congratulations on the movie. It was phenomenal. Fire emoji.
Thank you.
Movie camera emoji.
Thank you. As far as dreaming, like, believe it or not, and I'll do this post at some point soon, a few different juggies in the community precogged the film. One person did the exact title. Another person did the Dream Man. Another person did just the Dream Juggy Powwow from the Psycho series, which, guys, the Juggies Powwow from the beginning of the Psycho series was about dreams, and it is public again, and it talks about all this stuff 10 years ago, if you had any doubts. But there's even was fans doing videos basically precognizing the nature of the film. Insane. I had a fan just a few days ago confide in me through DM saying that he would dream scenes of my virtual escape before they would happen. Almost as if I was always going to do these my virtual escape scenes. Insane. How's Jenny doing? Jenny is doing fine. Thank you for asking. I'm doing okay. Okay, in quotes. I'm getting more PRP for my knee tomorrow. Fun stuff. And Mason is getting an ultrasound on Tuesday. We'll see if my dream about him having some kind of organ issue comes true. That one's time-stamped.
At Angel Abeliner 3683 donated $20 through Super Chat. Thank you for the movie and stream.
Thank you, Angela. I appreciate that. Thank you very much for all the support, guys. Really trying to... I know, like, my main audience is, like, this is, like, weird for them, and it takes some getting used to. And not everyone's going to be, on board with it. So, like, I appreciate everyone accepting this and cheering on the movie and this subject matter in my community, because as an artist, I try to do different things, and I'm not beheld to the algorithm. I'm not just doing videos for views. This movie and this stream is just for the people that it's supposed to reach. And I know it's not going to be the large majority of, psycho people or envy or whatever it is. But for those of you guys that watch it, that support me, thank you guys. That means a lot, especially for something like this. Some raw shit, especially even me talking about Dan and Jackie elements. There's a lot of stuff that I still haven't shared that maybe I can do separate videos or streams on my second channel. But as far as McJuggerNuggets goes, this is it. And hopefully when my health returns, we can get back to kind of more of the videos that you guys are used to, more narrative that are a bit more dramatic and interesting, like we're used to watching on here. But yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna close this thing off. Final minute. We're gonna close the chapter here. Any plans on a second movie? No plans right now. I'm wide open. Let's see where my creative brain. Val says, "Hey, Jesse, love the movie. Thank you guys, and thank you guys for anybody in here that's not from my normal McJuggerNuggets community that just finds precognition fascinating. What's up? Definitely want to follow me on socials. I'll be posting a lot more about this phenomenon because I'm be trying to get better at it, and maybe some of you guys want to join me and get good at it too. That would be dope." And that's, you guys get to hear in real time, 2.5 hour stream, my voice disappears. And that's from years of screaming for content, like a heavy metal singer. But all right, Jays, love you all to death. Don't forget to keep it rigid. And remember, it's very important. When the stream is over, put your phone down. Put everything away. Breathe. Look outside if you have to. Look around. And don't think. Don't think. Because not only are we addicted to social media and like the chat's going a mile a minute, throwing a lot of information at you, that could be every day and limitless. But I would encourage everyone, remove it all. Remove everything. And then stop thinking. The second your brain starts to conjure up a thought, the past, whatever it is, things you got to do, clear it, kill it, nip it in the bud, grab it, smash it, silence. We need more of that. And if for people that want things in their life, they're struggling with things, I'm telling you, not only is exercise, diet, and sleep the best things, is doing that. Call it meditation, call it whatever you want. I call it just clear the gunk out and just go numb. Do it for 5 minutes. Start with 5. Then see if you can do it for 10. See if you can do it for 20. The longer you can go, the better you'll feel. Your brain can defrag. And then, if you're open to it, you can start to get little pieces of future information. And you can guide it. Like, I want more money. I want a lover. I want my health to be better. I want my career to take off. This is real shit. You can call it hippy dippy or whatever. For those skeptics, I'm telling you, it's fucking real. I'll be vindicated before the end. And if you're skeptical, try it. And I guarantee you, it'll improve your life. Anyway, guys, I'm done getting preachy. Love you guys to death. Don't forget to keep it rigid. And I'll see you on the interwebs when I'm around. I'll be around. All right. Bye, guys. See you in your dreams. Oh my gosh, Jenny, that's my Jenny voice. She's like, yeah.